fell asleep early last night. I could not stay up.
As soon as the Panthers-Bruins was over, I was done. Oilers are already up 1-0. Stars had a lead. And the Heat had just... Actually, I stayed up a few minutes longer to make sure that Milwaukee got to 80 in the first half. So I'm pretty sure at 81-55, this one's over.
Yeah, I fell asleep on the couch, woke up as the Panthers game was ending, watched the first period of Edmonton, LA, end of the Heat game, and called it a night. Do you know what the power plays were in the Carolina Islander game?
And Brindamore was complaining because they didn't call the slash on Pajot, who broke Teravainen's hand.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like 6-1?
6-0.
Okay.
And that's 0.
And on the game-winning goal, they missed a high stick. Did you see it? The reason that wing was open was an Islander defenseman had taken a stick to the face, and he actually went down on the ice, and he was late getting off the ice, and it was the overtime, so it was the long change. And that's why Fast was unattended on the far side.
Paul, the answer to that's yes.
The Panthers were terrific, but
they were great.
Wow.
They had way too many turnovers in their own end.
It's like they were allergic to the puck, but the Panthers just skated them into the ground in the third period last night. It was a reverse third period. You know, Coffenbach was thinking about that. 6 periods we've had in this series. Boston's had 2 good ones, right? Third of game 1 and first period last night. I mean, you know, they were buzzing early. Would you give them 2 good periods out of 6?
Yeah.
And I got to give the Panthers 4+. Like 2 periods in game 1 and like 2+ last night. Take it easy, Ambien. Take it easy. Although I will say, if Bergeron's, I mean...
Yeah, he's hurt.
He's going to, well,
I mean,
I know. Now they listed him with an upper body injury, which is strange because he had the flu for game 1. So,
but apparently the Montreal papers reported he left the last game against Montreal in the second, and that's when. So,
well, Canada relief. The other thing is that if you get ejected for foreign substance, it's a 10-game suspension. Now they're going to appeal, but they're going to lose.
Yes.
So the Mets are just going to try to survive.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. The draft is a week away. How about them Stanley Cup playoffs? And hey, Miami Heat, there was a game last night. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. And we know all of you are wide awake today. Who's in charge of the EAS system in this state? 4:45 in the morning, the phones are going off. What the heck? In the Panhandle, that's 3:45 a.m. Somebody's got to get fired today.
Well, if my calculations are right, I helped do this because I wanted everybody up for the show today, David. Trying to increase our audience any way that we can.
Is this Felipe's new way? You know, this week, you know, changed some elements to his job, and he's sending out a lot more tweets and YouTube clips and Twitch clips. And I'm just wondering if he's like, hey, everybody, pay attention. I'm working over here. Seriously. What the man? You know who could have used that? Miami Heat last night. They could have used an EAS
8:45
test.
p.m. They could have used that. Maybe 9:15 p.m. a little after the start of the game to wake them up. Somewhere in there. Hello?
Yes. First media timeout last night. They really could have used one of those. Whoo-wee. Golden opportunity. Panthers took advantage of theirs. No Bergeron for a second straight night. They said, okay, all right, we can do this. The Heat get no Giannis. And they're like, whatever.
We can score on this team because they're really good defensively. No, they're not. And they haven't been this year. They were a great defensive team a year ago. This year, for whatever reason, their defense has not been as good. They don't have the guys that can make the stops. And last night they were exposed again.
That's because it's Bam Adebayo and basically nobody else back there playing defense. Man, this just in. The Bucks have scored again. They've hit another 3.
They're a mediocre basketball team.
Well, yes.
There's really nothing more you could say about it. They're dead last in scoring this year, and they claim they can defend, but they're undersized.
Here's the crazy thing. Now, it's tough to take anything out of last night because, it was a blowout. And, they were down 33 after 3. But, the Heat have scored, 130 and 122 in the first 2 games? No Giannis, and Milwaukee's still scoring. Wow.
They're not a good defensive team. They have not been all year. We talked about it yesterday. Hey, without a Giannis, can they keep this game in the 105, 110 range? Because that's where they need to be to win. They obviously couldn't do it.
And by the way, Vegas was thinking just along with you, Mark, because they set an over-under on this game in the low 200s, which, nowadays in the NBA, just about every NBA over-under is around 220. And I think they set an over-under like around 206, 209, something like that. Milwaukee nearly got there. But how about the Panthers and the Lightning? Well, they're missing at least 2 out of 3, and they may miss all 3 tonight. Oh, boy.
Yeah, this series is going to get really difficult for the Lightning. But let's talk about the Panthers for a moment, because in game 1, with the game in doubt, Boston just smothered Florida in the third period, owned the third period, did everything correctly in the third period. Last night, a completely different third period in which the Florida Panthers controlled the pace, controlled the tempo, forced Boston into bad turnovers throughout the game, particularly in the third period, and dominated for 20 minutes. What a third period by the Florida Panthers last night, David.
Mark, it's almost as if the coach looked him in the eyes and said, listen, I'm going to do some simple math. We're down 1-0, and it's tied after 2. So if we win this period, we'll go home 1-1. But if we lose this period, the series is probably over. So you guys decide. Do you want to win the period or lose the period? You let me know. We're not changing a damn thing. Not a line combination, not our systems, nothing. It's on you. By the way, how do you like my shirt and tie? All right. I've been very colorful so far in this series.
Just my clothing, because my comments never are.
No, I'm a really nice guy. Dreadfully boring.
I'm as dry as uncooked rice.
And the Panthers looked around and said, coach has got a good point. We probably should go out and win this period. Scored on the first shift.
Seconds in.
There you go. Smoke them if you got them. Let's go. Let's do this. Hot damn. We got series. We got teams winning games. What? Kraken winning in Colorado, Panthers winning in Boston, Heat won in Milwaukee. You'd think it's the playoffs or something. I'm telling you, Stanley Cup playoffs, March Madness. What's better? I know Madness would win the whole brackets and all.
Oh, Madness would win. But particularly these first two rounds to the two of us, David, are just spectacular. And telling you, the NBA, as it's getting a little more parity, they're starting to figure out that these first two rounds can actually have a little meaning, as we've got Phoenix and the Clippers and, some really good series in the NBA for the first round that we normally don't get.
The only thing the NBA does that hockey doesn't do, the NBA adds a few more days off. The whole load management, Mark. We got to take it easy on these guys. These guys can't play, have a day off, and play again. That's a little rough. We can't do that all the time. We could do that like once, and then we got to throw in an extra day off. We can't play too much. I mean, they're playing like 36 minutes a night now. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But the NHL and NBA playoffs are delivering, and we're early in the first round. We got nearly 2 more months of this. This goes till Father's Day, basically. I'm already getting the look from the wife. Last week, she was like, "Oh, really? The playoffs?" I'm like, Yeah, it's the playoffs. She's like, "Oh, that's great." And now I'm watching every night, and she's looking at me like, "How much longer is this going to go?" I'm like, "Oh, you don't even ask."
What I have found, I realized, and everybody says their kid's really smart. And my daughter may be really smart, she may not be, but she has figured out a few things. One is that dad's going to watch the hockey playoffs. And two, if it's about bedtime, and she can sit next to me on the couch and say, "Who are we rooting for, Dad?" That buys her 10 to 12 minutes every single night.
I'm surprised it doesn't get her a full period.
Usually gets her to the end of whatever period's on.
She's got
wife runs a tight ship when it comes to bedtime. She's the one that's got to deal with her in the morning, so I don't fight that too much.
Trying to figure out what game does she need you to be watching, the 7:00 game or the 7:30 game, to get more, time, because, if you're watching the one game, she may only get that 5 to 8 minutes. If you're watching the other game, it could be early in the period. She might get all the way to the end.
Bingo. And tonight, with another one of these multitude of practices that I take her to, I'll be taping the 7:00 game, so she might get a little more time in tonight.
Well, how'd it go, Coach?
Oh, we got pounded. What we do every game. We lost 6-1.
And you threw the caveat out there and everything, right?
I did, but it is what it is. They're not good. I feel really badly, but however this has been set up this year is that these poor girls have games. And I help coach my daughter's softball team. And last night the coach was not there, so I was in charge. Whatever.
Which means that you brought the pitching machine and you made the phone call and asked who's in charge of snacks.
That's it.
Right.
Basically, yeah. And I had to, run the pitching machine, which then you feel badly because it doesn't work.
Well, I'm just wondering. So in other words, does the rest of the league have a better pitching machine? Is that it? Is that why they have better pitching? They just have a better pitching machine?
No, I mean, same machine, both teams. I was in charge of ours, and our girls didn't hit that well. And then you feel badly because if it doesn't throw strikes, you feel guilty.
Right. When
they swing at a ball that's over their head. So it but no, even with the caveat of them dumping me with water with the wind did not work out.
Ah, man. Did you get dessert? Did you go with the ice cream post game so that you would always be remembered as the cool coach?
Hell no.
Oh,
I'm not in charge of snacks. That's someone's mom.
But this was your night. You could have done anything.
Yeah, you know what I did? I picked up the pitching machine and the bag of balls and the sack with the catcher's gear, threw it over my shoulder, and threw it in the back of my truck. That's all I was there for, is to carry it from the parking lot to the game and back to the parking lot.
I understand. I'm just saying. was a golden opportunity for you. That's all. That's all. You'd be remembered. Remember that guy? Coach, the one game, we got ice cream sandwiches afterwards. It was awesome. We were terrible, but it was great.
They're learning the art of losing this year. They're getting a little humility, this team.
You know, my very first Little League team, was it. We were terrible. We were last. We went like 2-14 or something like that. And it got so bad that, you know, when you won, you got the ice cream. And when you lost, you didn't. You just got the hot dog or hamburger and fries. And so we had lost so many in a row that the coach just said, you know what? You're a bunch of good guys, and bought us ice cream anyway.
It's about where we are. It's about where we are with these girls. They, you know, you're probably right. I probably should have made an ice cream run for them last night.
Miller and Moulton on this Thursday, on this 420, which apparently is a noteworthy day to some. It's what I've been told. It's what I've been told.
Lots of specials. Lots of specials at the dispensaries today, David.
Oh, I thought you were going to say deli. Oh.
That too.
You know what? This is the day in which, if you're Publix or Winn-Dixie or something like that, you may want to go for the, buy 2 potato chips, get 1 free day.
That's a dadgum good point. Miller and Moulton, thanking you so much for listening on this 420 right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Rays jump out to a 6-spit lead, top of the first.
Well, Ambien, every time it's supposed to be the Broncos' turn, all right, you should just say, hey, we got Russell Wilson. No, it's not going to do it. It would have a year ago. No, we're not doing a draft show this year. Mark's busy. So You'll have to get liquored up on your own.
Scherzer was not happy.
I'll tell you what, though, the umpires, they talked afterwards.
Yeah, I know.
At length.
I saw all that.
Yep, they explained it.
I mean, when they're saying 3 innings later, our fingers are still, 3 years I've done this. And
well, it's funny. I think Scherzer incriminated himself. So apparently after the second inning, they go, hey, it's kind of sticky. You need to wash it. So he said, I went in and washed it. And apparently somebody with Major League Baseball went with him.
In front of a Major League official, washed it with rubbing alcohol.
And so don't you think that was his mistake?
No, because, all right, on this 420, David, rubbing alcohol is one of the great things to get residue from pot off of anything that sticks. Rubbing alcohol gets anything sticky clean. It just does. I didn't know that. So that's why anything sticky, rubbing alcohol is getting that off your hand. So basically, That's getting him clean. That's removing any sticky substance from his hand.
Okay. So then, and apparently the guy, watched him and he, just, okay. Then more rosin and sweat and what have you. And he walks back out there. And then the ump said he was stickier than he was 2 innings earlier. And that's why, and Scherzer's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, ask the guy. I took it all off. And they're like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Now, it is interesting that there have been 3 pitchers who have been ejected for this, and all of them by the same umpire. But the other umpire who spoke, I thought, made sense. He said, listen, we do the rosin test before every game. We know what it feels like. I mean, it's the same rosin, right? So when something feels different, it's noticeable. That makes sense. I mean, and then again, Scherzer said, come on, you'd have to be an idiot. I knew I was getting tested in the 4th.
Right.
He goes, so, what's my motivation to, cheat? But, Major League Baseball will uphold it too.
Of course they will.
And so he's going to get a 10-game suspension. And the Mets got 3 starters on the IL. And now he's going to miss 2 turns. I mean, jeez.
Maybe he's just naturally sticky. I like that, Nick.
10 seconds.
Although, Mark, as you like to say, some people run
10
hot.
games.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. The draft is a week from tonight. You got 4 teams who don't have a first-round pick. You got 4 teams that have multiple. We're going to talk with somebody who works for and covers one of those 4 teams that has multiple first-round picks. In fact, you could argue they got the best of the 4 teams that have multiple picks. Tough to do better than Houston with 2 and 12. I mean, it could have been 1 and 12, but, they had to win that last game of the year.
And when they trade 2 and have more picks in the first round, this will be really interesting, David.
Would you trade very quickly with Indianapolis within the division if you were Houston?
Yes.
Okay.
I would not live under those. And I know it could be career suicide Because if they take someone who, if they take CJ Stroud, he turns out to be a great quarterback, it's obviously always going to look bad on you. I get it.
Yep.
But I can walk up to the podium and say, we had a lot of holes. My objective here was to fill as many holes as possible. We ended up with picks X and Y because of trading that. I'm comfortable with where we are. We put 4 starters on the field today, in my opinion, and that's where we need to be. So I could do that.
Okay.
Could you? Particularly when you're really bad. I don't know if we're both fighting for first at this point in our tenure, it might be a little different.
I think so for this reason, because if I'm trading with Indianapolis, I'm only moving down to 4. Teams that reportedly might make a big move up, like if it's Vegas or if it's Tennessee or, Philly, that's moving to 7, 10, 11. I don't know if I want to go down that far. So I think I could, just because now I'd have to get their second round pick, though. I guaranteed I'd have to get their early pick in the second round. I mean, if you're the Colts, basically the first 2 days of your draft you moved up to 2 to get CJ Stroud. Congratulations. Good luck. Because the Texans own basically the rest of your Thursday and Friday. It would probably have to be something along those lines.
Just curious, if it wasn't the second, what was next year's first? Is that even better?
Because
you get into the whole contract thing of not wanting a lot,
No, I'm Houston. I got to start getting decent. I mean, we've been absolutely horrendous the last 2 years. I can't be horrendous again. I got to be decent this year.
I feel like Houston, you want to be horrendous again so you could get Caleb Williams, but that's just me if you're not going to take a quarterback. I know you can't plan those things, but.
Well, also, I feel as if Arizona is going to out-tank everybody. I really do. And they've got the natural excuse. Kyler Murray's not going to play the first half of the year. I mean, I feel as if I can't out-tank the Cardinals.
Yeah, you're right. You may be right. You're in too bad of a division to try to out-tank the Cardinals. The Cardinals have the luxury of being in a really good division and trying to tank where they can really easily go 0-6. And with Tennessee and Indianapolis and even Jacksonville, come on now.
Right.
You trust that we can go 0-6 in this division.
Right. If you're Houston, you're thinking we can get a couple out of here. Hell, we could probably get 2 in a tie. So I feel like I'm up against it. But anyway, the draft is a week from tonight. We'll talk some draft later on in the show. Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, and John Harris with the Houston Texans. But the NHL playoffs, Panthers got their win last night after the Lightning got their win on Tuesday night. Mark, I did a little research yesterday.
Oh, boy.
And this is hard for me. I don't know a lot of people that live north of the border. I know people who are from north of the border, but they're living in the States now. And so I had to find out. So what's it like north of the border?
Take the temperature in Ontario, huh?
Right. And apparently the major sports radio station in Toronto was playing like funeral music, and they've spent the last day just really, feeding the beast, if you will. All right. One show was started with the Undertaker music. I was able to find that out. So we set this up before game 1, and I know many of you don't believe us, but we said an entire nation's mental health is dependent on this playoff series. And they got absolutely shellacked in game 1.
And their goalie, who had a 1-6 playoff record, looked awful.
Right.
And that's the biggest question mark they have on this team.
And he even said he was awful. In fact, he used a few colorful words to describe his performance in game 1. All of them accurate, by the way. So now here we are. But the Lightning are shorthanded tonight. They're going to miss at least 2 guys, and Hedman's a game-time decision. Doesn't sound good. If you ask John Cooper, Cooper's great. I love Coop. Okay, if you listen to Cooper, he almost makes it sound like I don't even know what's wrong with him. All right, I mean, he makes it sound like I haven't even seen him. I don't know.
Game time decision.
Yeah, that's what I'm told. It's a game time decision. I'm surprised. I don't know. He walked off the ice, and then I afterwards I saw him in street clothes, and and I haven't really seen or talked to him since. I don't know what's going on. I hope he's okay.
I'll get word from our medical guys, and we'll make a game time decision.
Right. I mean, he's only one of the 5 best defensemen in the league. He's only going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, but I hardly see the guy.
Right. We plan on playing him 34, 35 minutes a night if that's all humanly possible.
Right. But honestly, I don't even know. Is he still in town? I don't know. But some coaches making big decisions, though. Paul Maurice did not go with Bob in goal. He stayed with can't call him a kid because he's
journeyman.
30.
Journeyman.
Right. Alex Lyon, who came through down the stretch for him. Bob Brodsky, their number 1 goalie, got hurt. Their number 2 goalie just kind of lost his way this year and had to seek some help. And so he's out of the picture. And Alex Lyon carried them to a playoff spot. He was tremendous down the stretch.
And Paul Maurice goes back with him in game 2. Miller and Moulton would not have. We would have made the switch because he gave up 2 soft goals. You got to give Paul Maurice a ton of credit for sticking with Alex Lyon last night.
Who gave up a real softy late, but they were up 6-2 at that point, so it doesn't matter. But he was strong when they needed him. He was strong early when Boston was trying to put this series away. He said, "Not so fast, my friends." And so now, Tampa Bay, I think they win tonight. It's over. I think the Leafs may not get on the plane. They may just stay home. They may just all go home and pack and already leave for the winter, if you know what I mean. Even though they're leaving for the spring, but you get the idea. They may reverse snowbird it. Okay, instead of coming to Tampa to play hockey, they may just come to Florida and just, spread out.
Yeah, may go to Stream Song instead and see if they can get some tea times. Tampa's up against it with the injuries, though.
Yes.
It's not how you want to start. They were a thin team to begin with. Depth has been a problem for Tampa as they've won cups and gone to the finals and lost all these great players over the past 3 years. It's not a deep hockey team.
What do we say before the series? Got to keep all their stars healthy. I mean, they might have won 3 cups in a row if Braden Point was healthy last year. Only played 9 playoff games. A healthy Braden Point might have really helped against Colorado.
And now Hedman banged up. And we'll find out if he plays tonight or not. But they definitely need him. And if there's any doubt, he's going to be on the ice. Miller and Moulton. Great show lined up for you today. We'll talk a lot of draft. But on the other side, we'll catch up with anything you may have missed from the night before. It's our starting 5 on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this Wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Canada relief. We said yesterday that 2 of the 3 Lightning were going to be out. They suffered head injuries. We knew they wouldn't play in game 2. Hedman was the only question mark. And since we had no idea what was wrong with him and still don't, what are the Dolphins? A second, a third, a sixth, and a seventh?
Yes. Yes. Unless it was 2 sevenths. Let me double check. Yeah, you're right. 2, 3, 6, 7. I'm as unexcited about the NFL draft as I've been in years. Mainly because we're not doing a show and I have plans.
I'm fired up. Because if the quarterbacks go, it's exciting, and that's a story.
Don't go,
and if they don't go,
it's exciting, and it's a story.
And then it becomes, wait, well, Houston at 12, take a quarterback. How about Tennessee at 11? What about Washington at 16? Somebody going to trade up, Minnesota? What if there's a quarterback on the board for Detroit at 18? So Tampa at 19 for that matter. I don't think Gibbs makes it to where the Dolphins are in the second round. I think he goes in the first 8 picks of the second round. I think the Bengals should take him in the first round at 28. It's basically a second round pick. But if you want, you get the option here. And if you don't want it, don't pick it up.
If Robinson falls to 20 and I was the Bengals, I'd go get him.
Well, if he falls to 20, Pete will take him with his second first-round pick. He loves running backs, loves to run the ball. I think he would.
I don't think he would. He got Kenneth Walker. He's got a rookie already running that's running his ass off for him. You're going to take one? No way. No way.
Okay. All right.
I mean, why would you? You had one of the best rookie running backs in the league last year.
First off, I think there's a chance Tampa takes him at 19. Remember, who's the head coach? The style of play that he wants. And he doesn't have a quarterback worth a darn right now. I will say Danielson was all over Kamara when he saw him in college at Tennessee. He was like, this guy's going to be a great pro. And where did he fall to? The third round? Gary was all over that one. He actually saw him at practice at Alabama when he was buried on the depth chart and was like, who's this guy?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. The music was a big topic of conversation after the show, Mark. Oh, man. When people who heard the show live and then people who listened throughout the day, I got a ton of comments about the music.
How many of them were positive?
Not many, but they noticed. They noticed. They're like, who? I said, there's Felipe. Came back from vacation. All of a sudden, we had new music. Although apparently the last music bed that he played, all right, I got a couple of good comments about that one. Okay. But the easy listening, the Friday, Saturday night date romantic music that he was playing early.
You're being so kind to that music.
Right. Nope. Especially in the morning, but that's okay. That's all right. We're into experimentation on this show. It's our third act after all. It's not like we've done the same thing the whole time. Hell, we even took a year hiatus. We've had a few hiatuses.
Forced hiatuses.
Right. No, never voluntary. You got to have a lot of money to have it be a voluntary hiatus. I mean, when you're an adult, can you afford a gap year? No. When you get a gap year, it's ordered. Let's get to it. Time now.
The starting five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the starting 5 on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
How about them Panthers going into Boston, scoring 4 in the third, beating the Bruins 6-3. Alex Lyon, 34 saves. He was big early. Bruins were good early, not good late. Brandon Montour, first Panthers defenseman to ever score 2 goals in a playoff game. He scored 22 seconds into the third period, added another one. Series tied at 1. Game 3 is Friday night. Carolina's up 2-0 on the Islanders. They blew a 2-0 lead, tied it late third, won it in overtime. They lost Teravainen to a broken hand for the rest of the series, however. Dallas evened the series with Minnesota, winning 7-3. Game 3 is Friday. Edmonton evened the series with the Kings. Game 3 is Friday. By the way, Connor McDavid has just 1 point in 2 games. He's a -2 so far in the series. Just saying, though, the Kings have done a good job on him.
They have.
Tampa Bay's in Toronto tonight. Rangers, Devils, Kraken, and the Avs, Jets, and the Golden Knights. NBA. Huge opportunity lost for the Miami Heat last night. Yeah, they're without Tyler Hero, probably for the rest of the series. After all, he's got a broken shooting hand. But Giannis didn't play for the Bucks, excuse me. And Miami was so inspired, they gave up 81 points in the first half, and the Bucks hit 25 threes. 25 threes. Yeah. Milwaukee led by 33 after 3. They won 138-122. Series tied. Game 3 Saturday. So I will say they're going to do the staggered playoff thing in South Florida. Panthers will get Friday, Sunday. Heat are going to get Saturday, Monday. Not that there's a whole lot of people that go to both.
No. So that the Boston fans know when their games are, because it'll be 60-40 Boston fans for the playoff games in Sunrise.
Right. It'll let the Boston fans know that if they want on their off day, they might be able to buy their way into an NBA playoff game. They could scout Giannis and the Bucks before they meet him in the conference finals. Memphis, no Ja Morant, no problem. They beat the Lakers 103-93. LeBron at 28. The Lakers only hit 7 threes. Xavier Tillman actually led a balanced Memphis attack with 22. Game 3 is Saturday in L.A. Denver had to come from behind. Timberwolves had a big third quarter, outscored the Nuggets by 17, took a 2-point lead into the fourth, but Jamal Murray with 40 outdueled Anthony Edwards, who had 41. Denver beat the T-Wolves by 9. The spread was 8, Mark. So all 3 home teams covered in the NBA yesterday. Game 3 of that series, though, is Friday.
Looking like Bubble Jamal out there.
Yeah, well, he's first time he's healthy in 3 years, and because he hadn't played in the playoffs since the bubble. Major League Baseball. Rays scored 6 in the first. Cruz won the series against the Reds 8-0. Rasmussen with 5 shutout innings. By the way, the Marlins had a golden opportunity. Had the winning run on second in the 9th, couldn't get him home. Started with the winning run on second in the bottom of the 10th, couldn't get him home. Lost to the Giants in 11, 5-2 in front of 82-72.
And we thank you.
The Mets beat the Dodgers. That's not the story. The story is Max Scherzer got ejected. Too much sticky stuff on his hand and gloves. All he used was rubbing alcohol, rosin, and sweat. But apparently, Max is just stickier than most of the rest.
He's a sticky human being, apparently.
Right.
In fact, so sticky that the substance on his hands, according to the umpires, was still sticky several innings later.
And his glove was too sticky. Yeah. Give the umps credit this time. After the game, they talked. Phil Cuzzy ejected him. Cuzzy's ejected the other 2 pitchers because of sticky substances. An ejection for a foreign substance is a 10-game suspension, by the way. So Scherzer and the Mets will appeal, but it's unlikely they'll win. They already have 3 starters on the IL. They're likely to lose Max Scherzer coming up for 2 starts as well. Mets did beat the Dodgers 5-3. Yankees, Aaron Judge, a big day, hit a 2-run homer in the first, robbed Ohtani of a homer in the late innings, and then the Yankees beat the Angels 3-2 and 10. Padres snapped the Braves 8-game winning streak, 1-0 over Atlanta. Juan Soto with the homer in that one. Jose Ramirez with the 3-run shot. Guardians beat the Tigers 3-2. Mark, we had some big scores yesterday in baseball. St. Louis beat Arizona 14-5. Texas over KC 12-3. By the way, that's a sweep for the Rangers over the Royals, who are 4-15.
The Royals suck.
Pittsburgh over Colorado 14-3. Rockies have lost 8 in a row. That's a sweep for the Pirates.
Do you know the Pirates with the double-digit runs? They've equaled their total for last year of double-digit run games. It's April the 20th.
Wow.
Right?
That's a good tidbit, by the way.
I tried.
Well, you did all those game notes for all those years. In hockey, you love your game notes.
I do love game notes, David.
Cubs swept the A's because the A's suck more so than any other team in baseball right now. They're 3-16, and they're not going to be in Oakland much longer. Overnight, being reported that the A's and Vegas have worked out a deal for some property near Allegiant Stadium. I got to admit, if you've ever been there, all right, when you walk across the street from your hotel to the football game, you do look around and go, you know, you could put another stadium right there. So I don't know what took so long. Tourists spotted this years ago. Baltimore shut out Washington 4-0. Second straight night, the O's have done it to the Nats. Milwaukee beat Seattle 5-3. Brewers swept Seattle with 5 in the 7th. Phillies beat the White Sox, Mark, 5-2 in front of only 10,000 at Comiskey. I will say there's been some early season attendance for all the talk about, maybe people liking the product on television better. There have been some bad crowds early in the year in baseball.
Well, we got a text from Seth a couple days ago of the opener of the Tigers Guardians start of that game that was on the internet, and that looked like there were 17 people at the start of that game.
And it was a doubleheader, and they didn't list the attendance for the first game, and the attendance for the second game was barely 10,000. Minnesota 10-4 over Boston. Corey Kluber's 0-4 for the Red Sox. Houston beat Toronto 8-1. 40,000 on a Wednesday night in Houston, though, for the world champion Astros. Houston with 6 in the 8th in that one. Do want to point out, in the Arizona loss to St. Louis, Mad Bum got bombed again, 7 earned runs in 3 innings. He might get released here. He's 0-3. ERA looks like a bad area code. That might be ending before the month is up. NFL news, Tua talked yesterday, and he said he seriously considered retirement. That, the second concussion, and he really thought it over. Talked with everybody in his life, but ultimately decided, 1, I really love playing, and 2, I really want to play long enough so that my son has memories of me playing. Knows that I was a quarterback and all. Okay, I can understand that. Hall of Fame 49ers linebacker Dave Wilcox died yesterday at the age of 80. There was a friendly between the U.S. and Mexico in front of 55,000 in Phoenix last night. The U.S. scored late in the 81st minute to walk away with a 1-1 draw. They still have not lost to Mexico in 4 years. They're 3-0-2 in their last 5. Golf news, Tiger had surgery. I'm not even going to try to describe it. It's apparently somewhere between like your ankle and your heel. It's apparently he's got something fused. It's going to restrict mobility in his right foot, which many people feel, if it was in his left foot and he had this surgery, it'd probably be career ending. But that this surgery in his right foot will apparently alleviate much, if not all, of the pain that he has been feeling lately. But most people also believe we've seen the last of Tiger Woods playing golf in 2023. Which, of course, then wonders how much we're
going to see
of Tiger Woods. LPGA is their first major of the year. It used to be the Dinah Shore. It's now called the Chevron. It used to be in California. It's now just outside of Houston. PGA Tours in New Orleans. It's the team event. It's the Zurich. LIV's in Australia, by the way, but they don't begin till tomorrow. And at 10 minutes before the hour, that was
the starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
So, probably not going to see Tiger for the rest of the year. Who knows when we'll see him again? I mean, he did say at the Masters, don't know how many more of these I got in me. If he doesn't play the rest of this year, the next time we see him on a golf course, he'll be 48. Just saying. He looks good. I mean, he looks 35 till he takes his hat off.
Yeah, as they tell he takes his hat off.
Right. No, but come on, though. When he's walking around on that golf course, you look at him, you go, man, you look good. Takes the hat off, you go,
when he's standing still with the hat on, he looks good. The minute he starts walking.
Right. Yeah. No, like I said, you see him on the golf course, you go, man, he looks good. Takes those practice swings, you're like, this sucker's over. He's going to lap the field. Then he starts walking off the tee box. You go, Then he gets to the green. He takes his hat off, scratches his head. You go, Just saying.
Everything you've said is completely accurate.
And by the way, if you're a politician in Oakland, I mean, do you even visit Las Vegas in the rest of your life? I mean, they took the Raiders and now they're taking the A's. And the Warriors got up and went across the bridge also.
You're pretty much stuck in Oakland. You can't travel.
Who has worse morale right now, the city of Oakland or a Leafs fan?
Leafs fan.
Okay.
There's one that I play golf with, and I did not play golf with him yesterday. We saw each other. I happened to hit a bad shot on 18. He was on 15, so I was by the green. I'm getting my ball, and he looks where I am. And he goes, "You know where your ball is? Right where the Leafs are. They suck."
Wow.
Oh, just bent.
He said that to you.
To me.
You would think it'd be the other way around.
No, he just looked at me and knew the question I was going to ask him and answered it without even solicitation.
He didn't even let you get to, "Hey, man, how's it going?"
Nope. Answered it for me.
I'm telling you, listen, if the Lightning beat the Leafs tonight, you, me, and 4 other guys could successfully invade that country. Honestly, they'll be done. You can just walk right across the border. I don't think the border guards show up anymore. They just give it up. They go, "Yeah, we're done. Whatever. What are we protecting?"
Game 2s aren't must wins, but boy, oh boy, it sure feels like it for the Leafs with the banged up Lightning team. And this is where, well, it's really nice for Tampa to have this thing called what is it again?
I believe it's a Vasilevsky.
That's exactly what it is.
It's like a reverse Burrow. One helps you score, the other prevents you from scoring. Miller and Moulton.
Thanks for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I was never a huge Slurpee guy. But the one that I did like, though, was cherry. Well, Ambien, the funny thing is Federer only got hurt at the very end of his career. I mean, Tiger's been hurt throughout his career. At least midway through his career. I mean, 2008 was the leg and knee injury after the U.S. Open. Federer played like 17 years before he got hurt. His knee just failed him at the end. Nadal's the one in which you probably wonder how many majors he would have had without the injuries. But I think Nadal's hasn't been on the up and up.
Do you know there's a Netflix show called Florida Man now?
Really?
I've not watched it yet. There's a season of it out. I've just seen
I just watched a series on Netflix, 10 parts, all about government intrigue and conspiracies. And
we're coming back.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour number 2 of Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. More on the Stanley Cup playoffs. Panthers with a huge, inspiring win last night. Even the series with Boston. Hey, we got a series after all. And the Lightning already up 1-0, but dealing with a bunch of injuries. We'll say Bunting, the guy for Toronto, who hit Cernak in the head, he did get a 3-game suspension, which I'm shocked. Not as shocked as I was at Draymond Green suspended, but shocked because the NHL, they don't suspend a lot of guys for illegal hits.
And not for 3 games.
Yeah.
I thought, if anything, he was going to get a game.
But to think that he won't play till Game 5 in Toronto, and that's, of course, if there's a Game 5.
Stop it. Stop it.
Hey, I'm telling you, the whole franchise might go under if they lose tonight. Change their uniforms and everything. No big deal or anything. It's not like we got anything riding on this game. But we'll get to that in a moment. Hey, it was a little footnote in the, starting 5 there about Tua.
Right.
Talking and saying, hey, I seriously considered retirement. No, seriously. No, to talk to a bunch of people besides doctors and
my family. And this was an actual consideration.
So Randy Mueller, former GM. I think he's part of the 33rd team? He's still around talking football. I know that. So he just sent out a tweet. You respond to this, Mark. Tua says he considered retirement. Can the Finns extend him? What happens if he's concussed again? I love the honesty and transparency of who Tua is. But now it's, capital letters, really complicated. And we brought this up while he was missing the final weeks of the season from the effects of his 2nd/3rd concussion of the year, in which we said, if it was us, and this is something we agreed on, we're like, we ain't extended him. And everybody's like, you're crazy. You got to extend him. What do you mean we're crazy? I don't even know if he's going to play. That's fully guaranteed,
Maybe Tua's completely different than any other man that's played pro sports, or maybe he's just more honest than any man that's played pro sports. But the one thing that we've always been told, and you and I didn't play, David, so we don't know, but I know you've heard it a million times, and so have I, that when a guy starts thinking about retirement, he's a lot closer to retirement. So again, to your point, if he's concussed again this year, now I know he's been taking jiu-jitsu classes, and he apparently knows how to fall now.
Apparently that's what it teaches you. It teaches you how to better take a hit or better fall once you are hit. Who knew?
So hopefully his falling has reached a level of comfort that he won't bang his head on the ground and get concussed anymore. I don't think that's true.
Now, the Dolphins have already picked up his 5th-year option. They did not do what the Giants did. Giants said to Daniel Jones, I don't know, prove it. He went, okay. And so now, instead of Daniel Jones costing the Giants $23 million this year, he's going to cost them, closer to 40. So the Dolphins have Tua this year at $7, $8, $9 million, and then they got him next year for 23. I mean, think about it. 2 years, 30 or so million. I mean, that's an inexpensive quarterback. But Randy Mueller's bringing up, you really going to sign this guy long-term? Or do you play the franchise? Do you treat him like a running back who's already been seriously hurt? Do you treat him like Saquon Barkley?
And I don't know if Tua would do it. Can you treat him like Kirk Cousins?
What do you mean?
Instead of giving him a 5-year deal, and I know only 3.5 of it's probably guaranteed, but can you work in the land of 3-year contracts with Tua?
Well, here's the problem, though. Cousins, the 3-year contract when he went to Minnesota instead of the Jets was for $28 a year. Then when he did another 3-year deal with the Vikings, it was in the mid-30s. And then when he does another deal, it's in the low to mid-30s. Now, Tua may say to you, Mark, well, if you're the Dolphins and I'm Tua, I'd go, okay, you want to play that game? Fine. A, it's fully guaranteed, but B, it ain't going to be for Kirk Cousins prices. All right. It's going to be more for Deshaun Watson prices. All right.
And with where the cap's going, I don't know if you're in the 40s, if that's bad.
Okay, because that at the very least, Dak Prescott's 40, Deshaun Watson's 46. I mean, at the very least, I think Tua is going to look at the Dolphins and go, so you want to do this, huh? You only want to do 3 years? Well, then actually you're going to have to pay me a touch more than you want to, and you're going to have to fully guarantee it because I'm only committing to 3 years. So if you want to play that game, I'll do 3 for 144. That's 48 per. Fully guaranteed. I'll do that deal. Will you? If you're the Dolphins, let's assume Tua, next year, this season, he's healthy. He's good. Which when he's healthy, he has been. Largely. So would you then... You say, listen, I only want to go short term. I go, okay, but you got to go
135.
Right.
And number in my head was 135.
And I'm like, call me when it's 144. We'll do the presser.
The problem that Miami has is if Pat Kerwin is right, and I don't know if it'll be this year, but what's that franchise tag going to be at the end of this deal?
Well, it's the average of the top 5 at the position. So if there are no other contract extensions this offseason, which is a big if, because the Bengals and Chargers are talking to Burrow and Herbert respectively. But right now, also, Hurts is $51 million a year on average, doesn't kick in for another year. So next offseason, Mark, if you're doing a franchise tag, which the Dolphins wouldn't have to do because they're actually going into his 5th-year option. Right. So it would be 2 years from now. So let's just assume, Hurts's contract's kicked in. That's 51. Let's assume both Burrow and Herbert are in the 50s. And so then you got Russ at like 49. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers will still be active, but you'll probably have somebody else at 48. So you're right. The franchise tag right now that Lamar is stuck with is 32 and change. 2 years from now, if Tua gives the Dolphins 2 healthy seasons, and for whatever reason there's a problem in negotiating an extension, when they tag him, it'll be right around 50. Maybe Burrow and Herbert's extensions may not have kicked in yet. They may actually be kicking in that year. It could still be mid-40s, but you get the idea.
Oh, I get the idea, and I know, but there's I still think, for your 48, 45, I think we're in the same ballpark that we could get a deal done for 3 years. That would be the direction I would lean in, and I would fully guarantee it for 3 years.
But Randy Mueller is saying, listen, in theory, if you're going to do this, you do it after this year. He plays 2024 on the $23 million fifth-year option, and then you're signing him to, that's what Jalen Hurts is doing. Jalen Hurts is playing this year on the 4th year, because he was a second-round pick, the final year of his rookie deal, which is not much money. Eagles actually threw a little money at him, gave him a raise for this year. And then the big money deal kicks in. So, and Randy Mueller's just saying, listen, if this guy has already seriously considered retirement, can you go long-term with him?
And I would try to do a 3-year deal, and I have no problem fully guaranteeing it.
So you're willing to do 3 for 135, and I'm saying minimum 3 for 144. So obviously we'd get that deal done.
We'd get that deal done.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Would you sign him long-term, or would you try to pull a 3-year fully guaranteed deal, or would you franchise him?
Listen, I'm not sure I would have picked up the 5th-year option. I mean, that's how concerned I am about Tua. Because that's fully guaranteed, by the way. Let's just say he suffers another concussion or what have you, and he's done. That money counts. That's on the cap in 2024. That's $23 million. Now, it's a lot cheaper than if you don't pick up the option and he plays a healthy season. He's going to cost you maybe double that. So I understand why they did it. But while the season was still going on, Mark, I was not picking up his 5th-year option.
Neither of us were.
Now, I think we both would have been talked into it by other people around us, and they would have put the math in front of us and said, look, the Giants rolled the dice, and we would have said, yeah, but that was a performance deal. This is an injury deal.
He does know how to fall now. I mean, you got to factor the jiu-jitsu into it.
I got to admit, would it help if you got him a better offensive line? It's a crazy idea, I know. But is that worth considering?
Well, you can do it with your first round. Oh, you don't have one of those.
Well, to be honest with you, they've been hit and miss on their first and second round picks at offensive line anyway. So, whatever. Tell you what, the most important guy with the Dolphins this year might be their new offensive line coach. They drafted a bunch of guys in the first, second, and third round that are all over that line. Either Chris Greer sucks or they need a new offensive line coach. One or the other.
Miller and Moulton. What would you do with Tua? 21,000 is our text line, 21000. Matt Cannata coming up in around 25 minutes. We'll go to Houston in the 8 o'clock hour to talk with John Harris, sideline reporter for the Texans radio network, to see what the Texans are going to do with their 2 early round picks coming up on the show a little later on. But 21,000 is the text line. What would you do with Tua? Hell, we may even put it into a poll question. We might get that nuts.
Take it easy. New music and poll questions? What's going on this week?
No idea. Things are running amok on Miller and Moulton. We'll try to rein it in right here on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I don't know if the Mets are depressing. I mean, they are 12-7. They got a good team. They just don't have a lot of the team available right now.
So how would you rate this? With Tua Tagovailoa admitting he considered retirement after a second concussion, would
you sign him to a long-term deal? Long-term extension? Hops, what show is this?
I don't know. Oh, speaking of which, I talked to the boss yesterday. He wants to have a golf tournament. He brought it up.
Well, hey, congratulations being able to successfully talk to the boss.
I know, right? He answered the phone and everything.
Holy blank. It's true, Bob and Jake. It is true. Well, and also the A's, they were in Philadelphia as the Athletics. So they just took that name with them to, Oakland. So my guess is they'd be although, for the longest time, Vegas's AAA team has been, I think, the Stars.
Yes.
If I were the A's, since the teams out in Vegas wear a lot of black, I would really emphasize my green and yellow. I think I'd want to be the different team for merch sales and all that. That's up to the Pacific Coast League.
The Leafs are winning tonight, by the way.
Of course they are. They're still winning the series. I got to stick with it. What an opportunity the Heat missed last night, though. My God. Where for one game you're on equal footing. You don't have Hero, they don't have Giannis. They're better than you. You add it all up, it's kind of an even game. And they kick the tar out of you.
They were still better. I know it's kinda even, but they're
right.
still better.
But it's the best matchup that you're going to get for the rest of the series.
It's the ideal situation.
Yeah, no Giannis. Yeah, we mentioned that Canada relief. He is 9 feet tall, so it helps.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
I kind of feel like we're an FM station in which you have different themes on different days. Yesterday, we were like easy listening / romantic. And today has become Thunderstruck Thursday.
A little more of a Black Sabbath vibe to me, but I see where you're going.
I was just going with the, radio alliteration.
Yeah, I know.
2 for Tuesday.
I'm trying to figure out what radio station did
right
in your world.
Exactly.
Because this is a whole, you're inventing things that I don't think have ever happened in this world.
Oh, well, I just have radio stations in my head from all the places that I've lived and what have you. So like yesterday, I thought I was like 103 WJPT. It's a station, an easy listening station in New York. All right. That, used to carry some sports. So that's how I was aware of it. Now with that little bumper, I feel like, we're 92.3. Black Sabbath radio.
And here's the thing. All right. When you start throwing out all these numbers, we're actually on real radio stations. I know you don't care and think everybody streams because you're a cord cutter now, apparently. But a lot of our audience listens to us on a specific numbered station. So when you start just randomly throwing out numbers, I think you're confusing the audience. You're confusing me and maybe not the audience. They're looking down at their dial going, what am I listening to?
It is possible. It's early in the morning. Okay. It is true. You're still wiping the cobwebs out maybe. But my thought is if you're hearing our voices, you pretty much know what's going on.
Gotcha. But we're trying to increase our audience, develop a new audience. Someone could be hitting the scan button and just have come upon us for the first time. And you're telling us that we're, the flame-throwing rocker 1,000.75. I'm just now using numbers that aren't even in radio.
I was going to say, wow.
Channel 2.
Anyway, we're doing things a little differently this week, folks. Feel free to chime in. Text line 21,000. Let us know what you think about the music. Felipe's experimenting. Yesterday was easy listening day. Today's hard rock day. All right. He's very easily susceptible. That's all we're saying. All right. So chime in. Let us know. Felipe will join us in a few minutes for the Clutch Vodka play of the day. Listen, the Leafs are winning tonight. You do know that, right? For as much fun as we're making of them and for the regard that we have for the Lightning, they're going to even this series up tonight. You do know that, right?
I think so. I mean, when your two best defensemen more than likely aren't going to play.
Yeah, Cernak's definitely out. Hedman's game time decision. Cernak and Easymont both have head injuries, and so I wouldn't count on them anytime soon. Bunting, who hit Cernak, got a 3-game suspension, by the way.
Now, at some point, as David has brought up on this show for a while, could the Toronto Stars actually show up for a hockey game? Because they haven't.
I picked the Leafs to win. I obviously have to stick with the pick. Forget the score. Like, the Panthers just whooped the Bruins last night 6-3. The Lightning whooped the Leafs 7-3. Boston committed a bunch of turnovers. All right, the Panthers were better than them, but Boston was still trying to play their style of hockey. They just didn't play it well, and Florida was able to take it to them and get them on their heels, which not a lot of teams have been able to do this year, particularly in Boston. I think it's only the second game they lost all year at home by more than a goal. But what really does concern me about the Leafs, because we know what we're going to get from the Lightning tonight. Even wounded, we know what we're going to get. Their stars are going to show up. If they're in the lineup, you know they're going to show up. They're going to play well. We know the type of hockey they're going to play. Mark, what shocked me in game one, the Leafs had to know that the Lightning were down to 4 defensemen. I mean, if we knew it watching at home, they had to know it. They did not play a style of hockey in the third period that you needed to play. They needed to hit the Lightning. They needed to start grinding the Lightning and saying, you may have us tonight, but this is going to be a long physical series. They skated around like this was an exhibition game in the third period. There was no intensity, no physical play. You've already got them down 2 defensemen and a forward, for goodness sake. Hit them! It's a 2-week war. And they went, well, the game's over.
Get the puck deep and work them over.
Yeah.
Make those defensemen, force them to make passes. Force them to make good plays to get out of their zone. And if they're going to just chip and chase it out of the zone, dump it back in and pound them.
I mean, it's funny. The Panthers scored 4 in the third period in Boston. If you're the Leafs, they're down 2 defensemen before the period starts. And you don't play the way you have to play to have a chance? That's what concerns me. To me, they played that third period like they had already waved the white flag. I know the heart that the Lightning are going to show up with. They're champions. Are we sure the Leafs have one?
David, how can you be sure that they have one after what they continue to do year after year? And their best players have to be big tonight. And I know it's a cliche, but Matthew, show up.
And they seemingly never are.
Time now for our Clutch Vodka play of the day. That's Clutch with the K. Felipe, what do you got?
Angels in the Bronx last night. Ohtani with a deep shot to center field in the bottom of the first, or top of the first, I should say. Judge with the robbery.
High fly ball, deep center, going back. Judge still back on the track at the wall. He leaps and he makes the play. He took away a home run and made the play.
I feel like that's like LeBron blocking KD or something like that. Just star on star crime right there. Judge went yard in the bottom of the first. Yankees win on a walk-off. There's your play of the day. Michael K. on the call.
And not only that, it was the broadcasting cliche. How many times do you see it, Mark? A guy who makes a spectacular defensive play in the top half of the inning, then comes up in the bottom half of the inning and comes up with a big hit. Come on. That's got to make up. That's got to make up for the music listening to all the stations wrong. Come on.
That was solid baseball cliches right there, David. Well done.
Thank you. Because Aaron Judge robbed Ohtani of a 2-run homer in the top of the first and then came up in the bottom of the first and he hit a 2-run homer. How about that?
That's our Clutch Vodka play of the day. That's clutch with a cliche. Clutch with a K. Wow. Didn't know Brockmeyer was doing the show today.
I was going to say, or a drunk Harry Carey. I don't know what just came out of me there. We've played one in the Bronx. It's 2-0 Yankees. Now this word from Rheingold.
Have to be as old as Mel Allen to even know what that is.
Yes, you do. Look it up, Felipe. Look it up. It was not a good beer. But they sold a lot of it for a long time. First beer I ever had.
Was it really?
First beer I ever had.
Grandfather?
Yep. Put it in the little juice glass for me.
Mine was a Goebbels from my grandfather. Equally rotten beer. He only had it in the house to chase whiskey with. That was the only purpose of beer in my grandfather's house. Matt Cannata, we'll find out what his first beer was and what he thinks about the draft. That's coming up on the other side. Thanks for listening to Miller and Moulton right here on the Florida Sports Network. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka play of the day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN play of the day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the play of the day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka play of the day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka play of the day.
That's Clutch with a K.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, they're 16-3. They went 3-3 on the road trip. Got a day off today. Coming back home. I guess we got to call him.
Yeah, I'm calling him.
Okay.
No, he's right here.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Sorry, Matt.
It's okay.
I was,
It's been a while since I've been here. It's easy to forget.
You were right down in the queue, and I'm on the phone looking up stuff, getting ready for you. So
Yeah, all good.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm all right. The new arrangement working out well?
Which one? Oh, yeah. Yeah. The deal, yes. It's working out very well thus far.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're back in 15 seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
With Matt Cannata, founder, CEO, Pro Football Network, profootballnetwork.com. Follow him on Twitter, Cannata, 2 N's, 1 T, PFN, Cannata, PFN. Matt, how you been?
I'm well, guys. How are you? It's been a while.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, since then, you got an investor, you made 10, 12 bucks. I mean, it looks like you got a new hat instead of, the old one. I mean, things are going well.
Things are going great, especially with the hat.
all right, our discussion today so far, we've been talking to he talked yesterday, and I know there's a lot of draft stuff to get to, and we'll get there. But I want to start with Tua, and basically our poll question today. Would you, after Tua saying yesterday he strongly considered retirement, he's doing the jiu-jitsu to learn how to fall. He has been injury-plagued, 3 concussions last year, 2 that were reported, 1 that we all know happened. Would you sign him long-term?
That's really hard, right? Because think about everything that he went through last year, right? All the concussions. Obviously, we saw it play on national TV on Thursday Night Football versus the Bengals. And then, now with the 5th-year option. And to consider retirement, it's almost similar to the Aaron Rodgers thing, right? The Jets were ready to go all in on him until he went on Pat McAfee's show and said that he was 90% retired. And then Woody Johnson said, whoa, hold on here. I don't know if I want to pay this much money or to give up this much compensation and pay this much money to a guy who was 90% retired and then is just doing it to spite the Packers, right? And so for Tua, obviously it's a little different, but he has a kid, a very young kid, just born a few years ago, right? He has a wife now. And to even have that conversation after last year, sure, they have new helmets coming out. Sure, he's going through that training to help him fall. But you can only do so much to protect yourself. If he has one more major concussion, I mean, he could end up saying, okay, that's it. I'm walking away, right? He could say, okay, let's see how this works out. Let's see if this helps. And if not, then I suffer another one, and then it's going to be it for me. So I think Chris Greer mentioned it yesterday in his press conference. He basically said that we don't really have to worry about it until we have to worry about it, right? And to me, that says it feels like they're probably under a mutual understanding that they're not even going to address the contract situation until later in the season, in the offseason, after next season, just to see how each of them feel about continuing to play in the NFL. But it's a really tricky situation, which then brings me to my next point, which I hope I don't derail this, but the Dolphins should be looking for a QB, whether in the draft at a mid-round pick, or there are some at play such as Trey Lance that they may want to consider as security.
Look at you. So you're saying, being brutally honest, you're Chris Greer. I'm the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking, and I say, well, you give me your 2nd-round pick, you can have him. You'd give it up for Trey Lance.
I mean, they have the relationship, right? McDaniel and Shanahan are very, very tight. Greer and Lynch have a great relationship. That's what you need to get deals done. And if the 49ers say that, I'm doing it, right? I know the Dolphins signed Mike White, and I know he had a stretch last year where people in the Jets locker room were saying that he should be our starter, right? But if you can get a former, 3rd overall pick in the draft and someone who has only started a few games in the past few years due to either sitting behind somebody or getting hurt, I think you take that gamble, especially considering that the draft is just hit or miss.
What do you think it would take to get Trey Lance?
See, that's a thing. So, we were talking internally yesterday about that, and a lot of people here at PFN thought that, it wouldn't take that much, maybe a mid-round pick, maybe 2 picks, maybe a player and a pick. There was a report last night that I was reading that said someone who knows Lynch said that it would take a lot to get him, and at least a first-round pick. I don't see that, and they said that because, Brock Purdy is hurt, Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold, and the 49ers aren't just going to give away Trey Lance. But we have to be honest, too. If you put Trey Lance in that situation where he knows he's just a bench warrant or a seat holder for Brock Purdy, is that really the best situation for the team? And is that the best situation for Trey Lance? And so, Trey Lance, that answer is obvious. For the team, depending on how well their locker room is and how tight their locker room is and how they can hold that together, that's another question. But I think just looking at the market for QBs these days, right? Rodgers, obviously, toward the end of his career, they want a first-round pick. Jets are balking. Lance is early in his career, but he hasn't proven anything. I think if you can work that relationship and get a mid-round pick and maybe a player, you can make that happen. Like Christian Wilkins, for example. I know he's a great player for Miami, but if the Dolphins want to take that and roll that dice, you could do a second and Christian Wilkins or a third and Christian Wilkins or something like that.
All right, here's what would terrify me. It's kind of like when there are certain teams you just don't do deals with. Like, I don't know if you do a deal with Howie Roseman right now. He's on a roll. It's like the old adage with the Tampa Bay Rays. If the Rays call, don't answer the phone.
Right.
All right. The Niners need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy's hurt. Sam Darnold is the other option.
Mm-hmm.
They have a Super Bowl team. If Trey Lance is even somewhat available, isn't that the Niners' way of saying this guy can't play?
Yes. that could be the case, right? But the bigger question is, can he not play because it's Kyle Shanahan's system, which is very I wouldn't say dependent on the QB, but the QB has to play a very certain style, right? You saw Jimmy G, you saw Brock Purdy. They were point guards, basically, right? Getting the ball out into space, into the receiver's hands, and letting them do the work. They didn't have to go win the game. Trey Lance is really not that kind of QB where he's going to kind of dump it off. He's going to try to make plays on his own. He's going to try to make the splash plays, right? And so I know Mike McDaniel runs a similar offense in Miami, but you have to wonder if Mike Daniel would be willing to say, and Chris Greer would be willing to say, listen, if Tua doesn't work out, we can change our offense here because we have guys like Tyreek Hill, we have guys like Jalen Waddle who can make those splash plays when needed the most. So it's an interesting conversation. At the end of the day, I don't think Miami would do it, but I think it's an intriguing option for Miami if I was their GM.
Since it looks like Houston doesn't want CJ Stroud, do you think they will trade out of 2?
So Adam Kaplan, NFL insider for quite some time, is now working with us through the draft, right? And he released the mock draft last night at ProFootballNetwork.com. He said that he talked to a personnel source who has worked with Caserio in the past, and he doesn't think that they will force a pick just because it's a major need, right, such as QB, and that he'll select the best player on the board, and that's Tyree Wilson, right? So you have to think, though, like we heard some really interesting stuff about CJ Stroud, and we're going to release that today on our website. And then there's others debunking that, everything else. But Adam Schefter of ESPN has been really adamant about saying there's not going to be a QB at 2 and 3. And he has been taking that to the bank. And based on what we're hearing, I can very clearly see why there won't be a QB at 2 or 3. We actually might see CJ Stroud fall a little bit during this draft next week. Now, can the Colts stop that slide? They probably will, right? But if the Colts pass on him, then there's some red flags popping up. And it's just something to monitor. I don't think anyone's going to trade up to 2 based on what we've been hearing, unless it's like all smokescreen. I don't think anyone's going to trade up to 2 or 3. Maybe 3, but I don't think anyone's going to trade up to 2 to grab Stroud.
How many sacks did Tyree Wilson have last year?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. Let me check.
I mean, wasn't it like 5.5? Am I dead wrong on that?
I feel like 7 sacks last year. 7 sacks.
Okay. He played at Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Are we sure this isn't a guy that he's got the height and the weight and the measurables and all that? I mean, I got to be honest. Nobody talked about this guy for his whole college career.
Yeah.
And now, I got to take him in the top 5 of the draft.
Yeah. Remember that Remember that forget his first name. Walker last year. Yeah,
Yeah.
Trayvon Walker.
Yeah.
Came out of nowhere last year, right?
Right.
And was the first overall pick.
Right.
And
was
and he didn't have elite production. He didn't have anything close to it, right? But GMs became enamored with his raw power and athleticism, right? And the ceiling that he had. It's almost like Anthony Richardson that we're talking about, except at a different position here, right? Anthony Richardson should not probably be a first-round QB, but his ceiling is so out of this world that he's going to go in the top 15, right? Top 15, top 20, the worst. And it's almost like this, where you have a guy like Tyree Wilson, who's, extremely athletic, huge power, length, athleticism, and people are looking at this and saying, this guy can be a superstar if we get him in the right position, right? But then you also have to look at like Will Anderson and ask yourself the question, why wouldn't the Texans take Will Anderson? And why are we passing up all of a sudden Will Anderson when he has been, I think, for the past 2 years, the consensus number one player on everyone's board almost, right? And so you always see these rises, and you always have to ask yourself the question, is it the media just catching up, or are they really changing on NFL front offices boards? And that is the bigger question, right? Because usually it's the media just catching up to what the boards actually are late in the process. But for this, it just seems kind of off because everyone's been talking about Will Anderson for the past 2 years.
And it's funny when I look through my offensive lineman sheets of draft, there's not a lot of Big 12 guys on there. So this Texas Tech guy who played against all those, that's not the conference full of offensive linemen. So that's the other part. I mean, I don't know where's the tape on this guy of what he did of these premier tackles he was playing against in the Big 12, because there aren't a whole lot of them.
Right. And obviously there are a lot of weaknesses as with any player, right? But can those weaknesses, such as, being a little slow off the snap, right? His frame a little tall, a little too tall that allows him to be sucked into blocks at times. Can that be overcome when you get into the right coaching situation? Now, obviously the Texans, D'Amico Ryans, new head coach, defensive coach, may feel that he can work very closely with a guy like Tyree Wilson. But for me, that was a surprise just to see Tyree Wilson climb the boards this late in the process, and more of a surprise that he would be picked over someone like Will Anderson.
He's Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, ProFootballNetwork.com, also College Football Network, CollegeFootballNetwork.com. Follow Matt on Twitter, 2 N's, 1 T, Cannata PFN, Cannata PFN. So where did Kaplan have ultimately Richardson going? And I saw you amend, so top 15 / top 20, which
gotta protect myself a little bit.
Well,
right?
But also it brings Detroit in at 18. It brings the Bucks in at 19 and Seattle in at 20. All three would have interesting decisions to make if he were on the board.
Yeah, so he had an interesting one, right? He has Anthony Richardson mocked to the Texans at number 12. So he has the Texans passing up on a QB at 2, which is smart, right? You don't take Anthony Richardson at 2, I don't think. And I don't think you take CJ Stroud at 2 based on everything that we've been hearing. He has him going to the Texans at 12. And he says, but he does say that Richardson can go anywhere from 4th, which is the Colts pick, overall to the late teens. And, he had this anecdote in there, which history shows that QBs who only start 1 year at the collegiate level struggle to find a long-term career at the NFL level. And that's the thing about Richardson, right? He started 1 full season. It's not like he, turned the lights out and was just like, knockout amazing, right? The raw athleticism, the power, the speed, the dual threat has turned GMs into just like, we cannot pass on this guy because what can he be in the NFL? And when you look at how the QBs go in drafts, remember JP Lossman and the other guys like that just being overdrafted, Christian Ponder, you can't let that go because you might be fired if you do pass on that player. On the other side, you might be fired if you don't pass on that player and you pick him and he turns out to be a bust. But you have Will Levis, right, who probably needs a year to sit. You have CJ Stroud, and there's questions about his ability to understand film and study the right way and do a few different things. Bryce Young is size concerns, but the Panthers are not concerned about that. He's going number 1. And then you got Richardson. And where does he fall, right? And so if the Texans pass on him at 12, you're right. I mean, look at the Patriots. Which would be very odd of them to do, but they may take a chance on him. The Packers have Jordan Love. The Washington Commanders may jump in and take a chance. The Lions, right? I think it'd be a great spot for Dan Campbell, and even the Buccaneers and the Seahawks to sit behind Geno Smith. It's going to be really interesting. And it's going to be really interesting at 4 if there's no QBs at 2 and 3, because that will set the tone for the rest of the first round with what the Colts do at 4.
Do you think Hooker goes in the first round too? Do you think there'll be 5 when it's all said and done?
So everyone's forgetting about Hendon Hooker, right? And in Kaplan's mock draft, he does not have Hooker going in the first round. But there's a lot of NFL chatter about Hendon Hooker. If he didn't have that injury last year, he'd probably be a first-round pick. He's going to need a year, right, to recover and sit and learn. But there's a lot of momentum for Hendon Hooker coming late in the game. You may see a team trade back into the first round to grab him.
And Matt, referencing the 2011 draft that we have many times over the years, Jake Locker at 8, Blaine Gabbert at 10, Christian Ponder at 12. And I'm just throwing this out there, guys. I'm just wondering, outside of Bryce Young at 1, are we walking into another draft where teams have a need and they're going to take quarterbacks and they're going to turn out to be largely busts?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We just had that with the, Baker Mayfield, the Darnold class. The only one really who worked out in the top 10 was Josh Allen. He's Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network. Matt, thanks so much for doing this. All the best to you and your staff, and hopefully we can keep on.
Thanks, guys. Great talking to you.
Matt Cannata. Cannata PFN, Cannata PFN, PFN 365, by the way, CFN 365 to follow Pro Football Network and College Football Network on Twitter.
Miller and Moulton, another hour in the books. We'll go to Houston in the 8 o'clock hour and talk about what Matt said on the other side. We thank you so much for listening to Miller and Moulton right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Adam, I would say it's a good draft class. It's not a great draft class because there are a lot of good players, but there are not the sexy wide receivers, but there are a lot of good players. Like the Niners have 3 third-round picks, supplemental picks at 99, 101, and 102. I'll bet you they get 3 good players. Yes, Canada Relief. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. In fact, ask Adam. Adam, was yours at 3:45 a.m.? Really, Adam? Because it was like 4:45 Eastern. Yeah, really. Oh, no, I was up, but
I didn't even notice it because I was already out. I must have been walking the dog when it happened or something. That's what woke my daughter up. Now I know what woke her up this morning. Because when I came in from the dog, she was downstairs. She goes, there was beeping or something. Tried to get her to stay up. She had no interest in it.
hell, we had a show, and I don't know how much interest we had.
Ten seconds.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Third and final hour of Miller and Moulton in Lake City and surrounding areas, Tampa, St. Pete, Port Charlotte, and Venice. We're halfway home for those in the 239. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com on this 420.
David's favorite day.
Right. Yeah. Here's the funny thing. As someone who has never so much as taken a puff on a cigarette, never mind anything else, I will eat today as if me and Willie Nelson hang out together a lot. I mean, my eating habits, Mark, are pretty much the same as the stoner.
Yeah, I couldn't really handle you with the munchies because I couldn't even imagine what David Moulton with the munchies would be like.
I can't either. Although, all right, I have to guess because I've never been stoned. But
I think edibles would be good for you, just for the record.
Oh, I saw my wife one time have an edible. It was spectacular. I just, if I can arrange for that for the rest of our lives together, it'd be amazing. So, all right. When there's a big time sports thing going on and it's tense, I eat a lot of pacing. And if I make one run to the refrigerator or the cupboard, I'll make 7.
You and I are so the same.
If I can handle it and just chill out on my sofa or recliner or what have you, and just channel it all on the inside, I might not even have a glass of water. But if I make one move, then I've got the munchies. I could eat 3 boxes of Cheez-Its.
So last night, here's the horrible thing. I fell asleep in the second period of the Bruins-Rangers game. I just had a long day. I was tired, and I dozed off. I wake back up and want to eat. So the third period's going. I'm watching the Bruins, and I still have Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies that are strategically placed in the garage refrigerator in the freezer. They're in the garage refrigerator freezer because usually we set the alarm in our house when everybody goes to bed. And even though I'm awake on the couch, the alarm's set. Well, the garage, I would have to disarm the alarm to go to the garage. Alarm not set last night when I woke up, and I went, there's cookies in there. And I've been trying to be good with the cookies and not just grab the box and take it down.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk out, I open the one side, the little sleeve, there's 2 sleeves of cookies there. Open the one sleeve, and I take out 3 cookies. 3. And I walk back in with the 3 cookies. I'm like, I'm only going to have 3. After the 10th trip, out to the garage, and all the cookies are gone.
Right.
And now I'm looking for something salty after something sweet, and I've taken on the pantry. It doesn't stop. I mean,
no. And we're only midway through the third. I mean, we still got a lot more hockey to go here. Right. I can only imagine the Munchies north of the border tonight on 420. And oh, by the way, the Leafs might as well just say facing elimination tonight against the Lightning. Lightning without Cernak. Okay. The Lightning without Easement. They think Tanner Jeannot is going to play. He's the guy they acquired from Nashville. He missed 20 games. He came back late in the season. They think he's going to go tonight. Hedman's a game time decision. We were wrong about everything yesterday, by the way, concerning the Panthers. Everything. A, we gave him no shot. B, we were replacing Alex Lyon in between the pipes, and we were putting Bobrovsky in there. And we said the series is over. They blew their opportunity in game 1. They'll never have a better opportunity than what they had in game 1. Wrong.
Boston gave another poor performance, but this one I can attribute more to Florida's play than I can in game 1. Boston just looked a little lethargic in the first 2 periods of game 1. Florida took the play to the Boston Bruins last night. They forced the turnovers. So Boston's bad play yesterday, I think, can be attributed more to how Florida played. They took it to the Bruins last night, and they really took it to them in the final 2 periods. It was impressive. Lyon was great in the second, made a bunch of saves to keep him in it. In the third period, with basically their season on the line, they played the best period of hockey they've played in a long time.
All 4 home teams are favored tonight in the NHL. And they're favored to even the series at a game apiece. That's the oddity of tonight. All 4 road teams won game 1. Tampa in Toronto, the Rangers in New Jersey, the Kraken in Colorado, and Winnipeg in Vegas. I know no one's going to watch the Winnipeg-Vegas series. There were over 100 hits in the first game. 100. There are very rarely 60 hits in an NHL game anymore, including playoffs. Just saying. If you're up and you're eating the Thin Mints, okay, and you're walking around and you're snacking, I'm just saying it might be worth your time. It's the late game tonight.
Speaking of which, you pace and eat, right?
Or
do you pace until you eat, and then once you start eating?
Thank you. Yeah. No, I'm a stationary eater. No. But I mean, I'll never forget a buddy of mine. We're going to watch the U.S. Open. Phil, once again, he's in contention, final group. This is going to be the time Phil's going to win the Open. And so I'm all in. Going to watch every shot, 5-6 hours, the whole deal. And he bought the biggest box of cheese nips that I had ever seen. It's nips, whatever. It's the squares, not the,
Yeah.
And I had it gone before Phil was on 4. And I looked at him and I'm like, we got 4 hours to go. What are we going to do? He was like, are you serious? It's gone? I'm like, oh, gone. Gone. Absolutely gone. So I can only imagine, tonight, like, quite frankly, think about it. We keep talking about what the Lightning are doing to the Leafs. How about a Golden State Warriors fan tonight? How much longer you think this run is going? Is this it? And if so, you're down 2-0 and there's no Draymond tonight. What if this is just like, how sports works, by the way? Suddenly you're the older, less athletic team, and the really young athletic team is the one that's going to pat you on the head and go, you guys had a great run, historic run. Few of you were going to the Hall of Fame. But time wins, and this is your time.
Speaking of the Warriors, it was the subject of our poll question yesterday. And do you realize by the end of it, David, we were suspending Draymond Green?
Oh, my goodness. Man, are we soft.
51% of our audience was okay with the suspension and said he should have been suspended.
I think it's people don't like Draymond. I think that half of the votes for Draymond to be suspended are because it's Draymond. That if it was anybody else in that instance, that they would not have said that.
I think it's also that he did it right in front of the commissioner of the NBA who was at the game, and they're not surprised.
Which, by the way, I think makes their case worse. Joe Dumars said that he basically said in interviews in his statement, we suspended him because he's Draymond Green.
Yep.
And because he made a scene when he was on the court, egging the crowd on. That's crap. That's crap. Seriously, you do not. This is the playoffs. This is not a Tuesday in January. Unbelievable how soft that league has gotten. Embarrassingly soft compared to what it was. And I mean, forget the Magic Larry era. And you just talk Michael and what Michael and the Bulls had to go through. Unbelievable. All right. I'm done.
And outside, I give the Sacramento crowd a ton of credit during all that.
Yeah.
Nothing was thrown.
Nope.
A few double birds you saw in the crowd, but that's,
Yeah.
Of course, I'm sure the words that were being said were not that kind, but they didn't throw anything. They didn't do anything. And basically the league was saying they're surprised that they didn't, that Draymond did so much that's part of the reason he was suspended.
But so let me get this straight. So they're booing him incessantly. He then picks up on that and eggs them on more, and they hold that against him?
He went WWE.
Oh, please.
He did. That's
right. I'm sorry. I just think that how the league handled Draymond is a complete indictment on where this league is today.
And what's fascinating is, the old there's no such thing as bad publicity. This would have gone away if they didn't suspend him. This wouldn't even be talked about. This is being talked about because he's suspended. It would have been a stop. It would have been gone. We'd be ready for game 3, and that would be it.
Does a road team win tonight in the NBA and NHL? Remember, I loved, and we did too. We all three of us, even with no Giannis, we liked the home teams last night in the NBA. 2 of the 3 needed to win to even the series. All right, and we went with it, and we just thought Denver's better than Minnesota. So, okay, we got that right. Only one road team won last night in hockey. Turned out to be the Panthers, probably the one road team that we didn't think would win. So we got 7 games again tonight for hockey, 3 hoop. All 4 road teams won in hockey. Do any one of them go up 2-0? Tampa,
No.
the Rangers, the Kraken, and the Jets.
No.
Okay. Best one of the 4. If you had to pick one of the 4 to win, who would it be?
Whew. Oh, boy, that is so hard. I would probably go with the New York Rangers.
I'd probably go Winnipeg and then the Rangers. But
I'm really looking forward to how the Devils react. To just see, from a hockey fan standpoint, they didn't have any ice. They got a little bit, I think, embarrassed by the Rangers. I want to see how the Devils respond.
Really? You think they got embarrassed? You mean it was 4-0 with 3 minutes to go and the crowd was chanting, "Let's go Rangers"?
Well, it's wondering who the home team is in this series, at least when they're in New Jersey.
I was going to say, I think we know who the home team is.
Miller and Moulton, trying to be your home team right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Mark, I don't know your thoughts, but my thoughts are, what took so long? Oakland has had a long time to pass something to save the A's. A long time.
I don't think they ever wanted to save the A's. I think it was just political grandstanding. I've got something here.
Okay.
Out of Hollywood. I don't know. Are you aware of this new movie or new TV comedy that's being talked about?
No.
Starring Will Ferrell.
Really? Ferrell's going to do TV?
According to Deadline, which is a Hollywood rag, if you will. In what is shaping up to become one of the biggest TV comedy packages to hit the marketplace in a while, Will Ferrell and Jessica Elbaum's Gloria Sanchez Productions and Ryan Johnson and another person from T Street have teamed up to develop a TV comedy series starring Ferrell. While no one would comment, but I hear the series revolves around a professional golfer who becomes the face of a controversial new league competing with the PGA.
Huh. By the way, have you seen the dueling interviews? Matt Fitzpatrick and Cantlay?
I've not seen Cantlay's.
So Cantlay gave an interview yesterday in which he said, yeah, I'm slow. I've always been slow. He goes, but I will tell you something interesting. You know, I have not been spoken to by anybody on the PGA Tour all season. Not once. And the last 2 weeks or last two tournaments, everybody's complaining about our slow play. We've never had a hole open in front of us. He goes,
it's not true. He had 2 holes open in front of him in the one tournament.
No, that's what he was claiming. Or now I will say when you're in the final group, it doesn't matter. But so it was interesting. Fitzpatrick, who said it's a disgrace, but the PGA Tour is not going to do anything about it because they don't care. And Cantlay basically said, well, I don't think they care because nobody said anything to me.
They're going to. This Ferrell thing, we can clip both those in here, and then we got an interview. And
well, also, I do think the A's thing is worth mentioning for this reason. It puts the Rays on the clock. Well, finally, we've waited now 2-3 years for Oakland to get their together, because then it puts Tampa Bay on the clock officially. Because Major League Baseball wants expansion. That's $3 to $4 billion in expansion fees.
Yep.
That they don't have to share with the players. That's $100 to $130 million per team that they just put in their pockets. Thank you very much. No, I was never a plumb bobber. I just squatted behind the ball like a catcher, looked at the putt, got up, hit it.
10 seconds.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
$21 past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us on this Thursday, 1 week before the draft. 4 NHL playoff games tonight, 3 NBA playoff games tonight, and a full day of baseball, although the Rays are off. John Harris Texans with picks 2 and 12. What are they thinking? What are they going to do? He works for them. He covers them. He'll join us coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time.
So found this little story, David. We're always looking for new shows to watch. There may be one on the horizon that I think will interest our audience. Will Ferrell is apparently teaming up with a bunch of production companies in Hollywood. It was released yesterday, and he is doing a golf TV show.
Will Ferrell's going to do TV?
Will Ferrell's going to, according to this report, he is doing a comedy TV series, which will star Will Ferrell as a professional golfer who becomes the face of a controversial new league competing with the PGA. I'm not making this up.
Come on. Seriously?
According to Deadline, which claims it's been breaking Hollywood news since 2006. But it's just a Hollywood rag.
Right. No, I got it.
And a couple of big production companies that have done other shows.
Huh.
The people responsible for the show Poker Face and the Netflix comedy Dead to Me, that are both pretty big shows, are also involved in this.
Okay.
No release date, but Will Ferrell he's an avid golfer.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually can play.
Well, and it does help if your lead actor or actress, has a good-looking swing. It makes it more believable that they are what they're claiming to be. Okay. I mean, I think many of us will give it a shot just because of who it is.
Absolutely.
Can golf be funny, though?
Yes.
Week in, week out?
I think so.
Okay.
I think there are a lot of different subject lines, whether it's the caddy. I mean, there's plenty of different directions you could go in.
The thing that I find interesting about this, because I would think that every single golfer, if this was a show in which the premise was just life on the PGA Tour, there would be cameos like crazy. The golfers and their agents would be like, like Rory, all of them, Tiger, Rory, the whole deal. I think they would all desperately want to do cameos on this show, especially if 3 episodes in, it's a hit. But if you're competing against the PGA Tour, I don't know that you get a 1, if you know what I mean. Unless somehow you stage it where they're representing the tour and you're showing up at something and they're heckling you. I mean, that's my thing. How are you going to get Rory and Tiger and, anybody else to do cameos on this show?
Brockmire does a pretty good job of making fun of baseball announcers.
No, it's true.
Joe Buck did a regular appearance on it.
No, it's true. That's true.
So,
all right.
It's Will Ferrell. And we'll see where Live Golf is by the time this show even comes out.
Right. It could be done. Bob and Jake in our Twitch chat room said, well, they could get the LIV players. Yeah, it's true.
Can you imagine Brooks Koepka as an actor?
I thought you were going to go.
Brooks and DJ in the same scene would be, how many takes would it take to get Brooks and DJ through a 30-second television scene?
I knew you would be all over DJ here. I knew it. Oh, man. By the way, apparently there's a politician in Tallahassee who's already proposed banning the EAS tests between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. Obviously, that person woke up, did not appreciate the 4:45 a.m. or 3:45 a.m. if you lived in the Panhandle EAS test that we all received in Florida this morning. Oh, man. Boy, when these folks want to get something done, they can. Nothing important, mind you, but,
No, but
hey,
somebody was woken up this morning. They're in a bad mood, and they're changing the law.
Exactly. Hey, I want to bring this up. It doesn't directly affect us yet, but it will. We've been saying for years, Major League Baseball wants to expand. They want to get to 32. Manfred's been open about it, but he has said we have to resolve Oakland and Tampa Bay stadium situations first. Then we will expand. And cities are already lining up. You got Nashville, Portland, and Salt Lake City that are already lined up, ready to go. And there could be more. Well, the president of the Oakland A's came out last night and said, we're going to Vegas. We got a deal. We're buying land. And it's going to be a public-private partnership. It's going to cost between $1 and $1.5 billion for everything. And we're going to break ground here in the next year, and we're going to be playing baseball there by 2027.
Okay.
And he basically said, he said we had a nice 50-year run in Oakland, but we've done a 20-year dance for a new stadium, and it's time to move on. They're done. They're gone. So Tampa Bay, you're on the clock. You're officially on the clock. Now, the difference in Oakland, which will get interesting, the A's lease at the dump that they're currently playing in runs this year and one more. And obviously, they're not going to have a new quote-unquote home until 27. It will be interesting where they play in 25 and 26. Do they play in the AAA stadium in Vegas, which only holds around 10 or so thousand?
It would be drawing more than they do in Oakland.
But bum. So Tampa Bay now, baseball-wise, stadium-wise, officially on the clock. Oakland's going to Vegas. And then there was one. All right. Probably got 18 months to figure it out. And then, it'll take the 2 to 3 years to build it and all that. And so, okay. Let's see what happens.
Does it get done?
It'll get done, but I don't think it'll be there's a decent amount of public money that's coming from Nevada for this deal. And come on now. Just about everybody listening lives in this state or has lived in this state. How much public money you see coming for this? Outside of the city of St. Petersburg, anybody offering up any public money?
No.
So, and has Rays ownership expressed an overwhelming desire to want to throw a bunch of money at this project?
Absolutely not.
So, that to me is the It's why I think St. Pete's the leader in the clubhouse right now.
Well, they're the only one offering anything.
There's officially
anything substantial.
Yeah, officially. So, but now you're going to have Rob Manfred, who's just going to be like, okay, Stu, you're holding up expansion. And it ain't the teams. It's the money. 1.5 to 2 billion per team is what Major League Baseball is going to ask for an expansion fee. That's 3 to 4 billion divided by 30. That's 100 to 133 million per team.
And think about what's going on in baseball right now. We've got this whole thing with the Sinclair broadcasting with rights fees, and next year it could affect teams' bottom lines. It's a really easy way to fix your bottom line. It's an expansion fee. Does wonders for a short-term solution for your ball club. Miller and Moulton. We talk Texans in the draft next.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN play of the day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the play of the day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka play of the day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka play of the day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Think of the possibilities for a golf comedy, though. They could do like Bob and Jake there about Phil bringing out bags of cash to pay off debts. They could do a whole big thing about the gambling in golf. Oh my God, it'd be great.
The mistresses. Caddies being, I mean, the old school, if you want to make it old, because now it's such a business, caddies are not what they once were.
You could have an episode just about Tuesdays. They could do a season on just the legendary Tuesday gambling stories that are out there.
The Rays are plus 83 in runs. Care to take a stab at what the Athletics are?
How about minus 83?
It's a good guess. Minus 86.
Ah!
Rangers are the next highest team in run differential at plus 43. There's a 40-run difference between the Rays and the Rangers. It's April 20th.
Also, I believe the Rays have homered in every game this year, right?
Yes, they have.
So that's 19 straight to start the season. Well, Hops, it'll be interesting. Do all his friends commit to doing cameos right away, or do they wait to see whether or not the show is successful and then commit to doing them? Mhm.
John's on hold. We're back in 40.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. The bonus hour awaits in the 239 at the top of the hour. Right now, John Harris is kind enough to join us. Well, if it involves the Texans, there's a good chance he's a part of it. TV, radio network, HoustonTexans.com. Follow John on Twitter, letter J Harris Football, the letter J Harris Football. John, it's David and Mark. It's been entirely too long. How the heck are you?
Oh, boys, I'm doing great. I'm telling you, it is so great to hear from you guys. I hope everybody's doing well. And yeah, it's another draft season, and so it's crazy stuff here in Houston. I will say this: at least some of the in-office politics, I think, are kind of done. Maybe maybe we'll see interesting, but yeah, we definitely make things exciting. That's for sure.
Well, there is no doubt, and with 5 picks in the first 73, the Texans have the ability here to improve their team quite a bit. What is the plan beyond getting a quarterback for this team?
Well, yeah, and that's the $64 million question: is how much do you have to get a quarterback in this particular draft? And I think if you have polled 100 Houston Texans fans, 93 of them would say, "Oh, you got to get one in this draft." And I'm not sure that the Texans brass sees it that way. In all honesty, I think they see it as, look, this is a longer play. We like one quarterback potentially. Don't know if we like the others. And so at that point, if we think we can get elite players at priority positions like edge rusher, I don't know if you want to say wide receiver is a priority position nowadays, but it kind of feels like it when you look at what teams gave up last summer or last spring for wide receivers. What Miami did to get Tyreek, Devontae Adams going to the Raiders. I don't think wide receiver is a priority position, but it's sure getting there. So those are the two positions that they really need. And then center is the last one, which is so totally not sexy. So it's not really fun to talk about. So when the Houston people are like, John, what center do you want? And I go, they want one of these 4. Okay, good, let's move on. But those are the positions of need. But, the quarterback is the $64 million question. Are you going to do it at 2? Are you going to move up to 1 and get Bryce Young? Because I think if you were to poll 32 teams, probably I would say 2/3 at a minimum would tell you Bryce Young is their guy, would be their guy. And I think Carolina, that's the case. I think Bryce Young is their guy. So are the Texans comfortable with C.J. Stroud or Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, or might they do something like trade for Trey Lance, which is kind of the rumor that popped out yesterday? And we've got a lot of connections as far as that goes. But then you got a lot of questions with that. Why would the 49ers, after giving up all that draft capital, is Brock Purdy that good? They're just going to give up on Trey Lance immediately? So I don't know. It's been a tricky time kind of sift through all of that. I think the easy thing would be to just draft C.J. Stroud at 2 and be done with it. But I don't know if that's the right thing for this franchise right now.
All right, John, let's cut through it then. What's up with C.J. Stroud? I mean, this was a foregone conclusion. The one guy was going to go 1, the one guy was going to go 2. What is the word about CJ Stroud? I mean, I don't know. You look at that Georgia tape in the national semifinal, that guy can play on Sundays.
I don't dispute that at all. I mean, listen, I tell this to Texas fans all the time. I'm like, yo, don't shoot the messenger. You know, don't shoot the messenger on this one. You know, I've been saying, you know, after we lost after we beat the Colts in Week 18, and everybody was panicking, we lost the number one pick. I'm like, look, we got Stroud, we're good. You got Young, you got Stroud, we're good. We'll be just fine. And you know, the more it gets closer to the draft, the more that I sense that it's just not happening. Now, what is it about CJ Stroud? I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's funny because, you know, throughout this whole time, I never got the feeling that CJ Stroud was kind of our guy. And I don't know really what kind of told me that. I just got the feeling he was not our guy. And I got the feeling way back in May last spring that Will Levis would be kind of our guy, you know, what we're kind of looking for in a quarterback. I think CJ showed actually more this year. You know, people don't think he did. I think he showed a lot more as a quarterback and as a leader, but I do think that there's something missing for NFL teams. That's just the gauge they get. And for our guys, I know that's definitely there. Now, there's been a lot of talk about this S2 cognition test and all this kind of stuff. And I've heard through various channels that it didn't go so well for a few of the quarterbacks, and CJ was one of them. Now, how much does that play into things? I don't know. We know that quarterbacks that have been successful on that test have been successful in the league, but I don't know if that plays into it. You know, CJ's a little bit, I don't want to use the word aloof, but you just get the sense that, you know, he's not Bryce. And I think that's the comparison point. You look at Bryce and you see how Bryce leads. You know, I think there would probably be some teams that are like, you know, CJ's not quite like that. But for me, it's a slam dunk. But that's the one thing that none of us, you asked the question, that's the one thing none of us know. But NFL teams are going to know in spades. And that is, how is this guy to deal with on a daily basis? They brought him in for dinner. They sat down for meetings. You sit down for meetings and you start going through football things and you're talking, you get a vibe on a guy. Sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's good. And sometimes you get a great vibe. And then that guy turns out to be a dud. And I can think of a couple of Texans that's happened to. It can go the other way too. If you get a bad vibe from jump, it's probably not going to work itself out. So I can't put my finger on it, to be honest. But I do feel like if I were in that position, I would do it. And I would let the young guy grow. And I think CJ Stroud would do some good things with the Texans. And maybe it turns out that way. My gut is just telling me that's not the way it's going to go for whatever reason. And I think that Trey Lance could have something to do with it.
You know, that one, maybe it's just because we had that little 420 conversation before. He threw one of those, I don't know. It sounded a little bit like Spicoli from Fast Times in there. So maybe it's just where my head is, right? I don't know. Should we take CJ Stroud? I don't know. Let's put it up on the board. What's Trey Lance worth to you? What would they have to deal to get Trey Lance in your estimation?
Well, I think the 49ers would want at least one of our first, and I would say, no, we're not playing that game. But we had this conversation yesterday when I give up number 33, which is second pick of the second round. And I think that I would. That I think I would do. I can get two elite players at 2 and 12. My guess is we're not going to pick at 2 and 12. But give up 33, top of the second round, give that up, get Trey Lance. Now, I don't know if the 49ers would do it, but I think the 49ers are obviously it's out there, so they must be thinking, they must be inviting offers because, you know, Kyle Shanahan wants to play games. I mean, it was that whole thing in 2021, you know, where everybody thought it was Mac Jones, and he just kind of sat back and laughed at everybody and then took Trey Lance. So I think they want this out there. I think they're fishing. So I think they would take the 33, maybe 33 and I don't know, maybe you can give them 65 and 73, your two picks in the third round. Maybe they go with that. That's where I would start. And then I might end up at, all right, we'll give you 33 and let's go. And now you get two premium players and you get Trey Lance. If it doesn't work out, then you got the 2024 draft. And for anybody that's paying attention there, you got some real studs in 2024. And not a lot of them have height problems or size problems or are athletically gifted but can't play quarterback. And there are a couple of those quarterbacks in this draft. I feel like you have more ready to be NFL quarterbacks next year. Now, you can't play for next year, but if you take a shot on Trey Lance and it doesn't work, okay, that's a different ballgame. But if you just say, wow, we're punting the next year, these Texans fans are not going to be down with that. So I think Trey Lance, what I would do, and I think a lot of people in Houston would say, yeah, when I get up 33, to at least give it a shot, yeah, we'd do that. So I think Trey Lance for 33, let's rock on. Now, would the Niners do it? I don't know. If they don't, maybe I feel comfortable, and I would feel comfortable with Hendon Hooker at 12 and just say, let's rock. Whenever you're ready, you'll be our guy. And we'll kind of manage our way through it until you're ready, and we'll go with Hendon Hooker at number 12. So there are ways to do it. I just think Texans fans, after the last 3 years, and all the you-know-what that the organization has put this city through, the fans are like, nah, let's go. Quarterback, now. Let's get this thing started, and let's get going. If you get a quarterback and you don't get to the playoffs, we're okay with that. But at least show that you know that you need a quarterback to win in this league. And I think some Texans fans question whether the Texans actually believe that. And trust me, they do. They believe it, and they know it. But they're not about to sell their soul or the number 2 pick for a guy they don't believe in and a guy that they don't think can take them to the heights they need to.
John,
so, point, let's see what we got.
Final question. Let's just give the Texans a good draft. They got 5 of the top 73. Let's just say they get 4 starters out of these 5 picks. One of them's a quarterback, one of them's a wide receiver, one of them's a center, and, pick whatever other position you want. From a roster standpoint, how close are they to where the Jags were a year ago, if you know what I mean? Like, how many years do you think the Texans right now, and if we give them even a good draft, how many years are they behind the Jags after this draft?
If they can answer the question at quarterback, and maybe it's not a guy on quite Trevor's level, but he's a guy that you can rely on. And he can be good in the fourth quarter. I think it's closer than people think. Now, it's not the perfect roster, mind you, but they've been able to kind of mesh. Each year, the free agents they sign, like the first year in 21, it was like, who is it? Why are we signing these guys? Like, none of these guys are going to be here. The next year, we sign a few more guys where you're like, okay, I kind of see where we're going. Now with D'Amico in charge, we got a little bit more of a I don't say high-class player, but Dalton Schultz coming to the Texans would have never been a thought. And you had a couple guys in the middle. You had a veteran like Robert Woods. And once you start winning, especially in the state of Florida or Texas, where there's no state income tax and where a lot of players want to live after they're done playing, Texas and Houston provides a really good option. Like, hey, now we got this thing turned around. Hey, you want to play with this quarterback? He's pretty good. You got a chance to be part of this. Come on with us. And so I think once you kind of get the ball rolling, now you become attractive to more free agents, more high-profile free agents that can come in and really impact you, make a big trade like the Dolphins did last year for Tyreek. You can do a lot of different things once you kind of get the ball rolling, i.e. winning. And I think the Texans, and this year in particular, because we match up with the NFC South, we have 6 games in the AFC South, and that's not neither one of those divisions are excellent. And yeah, we got to tangle with the AFC North, and we play a 4th-place schedule. So we've got some very winnable games on the schedule, even if we had last year's roster. But I think our roster is upgraded. Does it get us to 11-6? No. But can we get in the 7-10, 8-9 range? Yeah, I think we can get in the 7-10, 8-9 range. I think we can get there. But the quarterback question is at least maybe not completely solved, but you got to start having some answers at that position to have a chance.
He's John Harris, whether it's Texans TV, radio, HoustonTexans.com. He's all over it. Follow him on Twitter, the letter J, Harris Football, the letter J, Harris Football. John, great catching up. All the best to the family. We'll catch up again after the draft.
Appreciate you guys. And also, check out my website, footballtakeover.com. All the draft stuff you want is right there. Draft guide coming out tonight. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
And he is a football goober, and we mean that in a very affectionate way. So footballtakeaway.com, check it out. I've had a few people in the Twitch chat room anyway compare him to the voice of FAU, Ken LaVicka. Say
A lot of energy.
Right. Got to get these two guys on at the same time. Imagine two of them doing a midday show. Huh?
Be fighting for mic time. I do know that.
Well, when one of them got it, then that's 3 minutes. But it'd be high energy, baby. I mean, it'd be brought to you by Jolt Cola. We know that.
All the sugar, twice the caffeine.
Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. So, by the way, I'm going to throw something out here. Niners don't have a first-round pick. They got a very late second. They have 3 in the third, though. Supplemental picks, 99, 101, 102. You could see a deal where they say to the Texans, hey, you give us 33 and give us 65, and we'll make you feel better. We'll give you 1 or 2 of our supplemental picks 30 or so later. Let's switch spots in the round, if you know what I mean.
I do think 33 could get something done. It's a huge pick. That's where the draft comes to you as opposed to reaching for guys late in the first round. So it will be interesting to see if Houston and San Francisco get something done. Miller and Moulton, thanks for joining us right here on the Florida Sports Network. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Pride myself on, what I do is defend.
David, my camera's completely gone away, and I don't know what. There we go. The site that I was just on for the good, basically, I don't think I can ever go to again. Because that really slowed my... And to think it was the Good News Network. All right, got it on the phone. We're good now.
I did not see this until just now. Felipe.
Yeah.
Did you see what Dylan Brooks had to say after the game last night?
Oh yeah, that LeBron's old and that he doesn't respect him until he drops 40. So a 40 ball is coming for LeBron James.
I guess they had a verbal, the Lakers were making, or I guess Memphis led by 14 and Dylan Brooks got in LeBron's face, and then the Lakers made a run afterwards. And so he was asked, hey, should you be poking the bear like that? And he goes, I don't care. He's old. I poke bears. I don't respect someone until he gives me 40.
Okay.
I can't wait.
So in games 3 and 4 in LA, you know there's got to be a LeBron 40-point prop bet, right?
Oh, I can't wait. Hey, do you respect him now? I can't wait. Because he was the only one hitting shots for him and Hachimura.
Who, by the way, is playing well for them.
Yes, he is. But yeah, LeBron was hitting shots.
I would just like to announce games with Hachimura. Just so many different ways to do his name and inflect it with a great shot.
It's got a good ring to it.
Do you come up with like a Sterling call of some kind? Is it Hachimura?
I'd go the other way. Hachimura, Mora for 3. That's what I would. It would be a triple Mora every time he hit a 3.
I think I would do triple Hachi.
The first name, you can do a lot with it too. Rui. Hachimura.
On the assist, I might go Hachi.
It's a long season. Sometimes you just have to entertain yourself as the broadcaster.
We had a line when I was in Nashville of Igar Cyprus, who was from Latvia, Alexander Chinchukov, and Mark Tardif, who was French-Canadian and had a horrible accent. I called it the Hooked on Phonics line. Oh, Tardy got so mad at me. Why do you say that to me? Well, Hooked on Phonics, I speak fine. I know you do, Tardy. You're a good kid. Great dude. Tardy was just a killer. Just a killer.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
The bonus hour on this 420. Thanks so much for being with us. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. The draft's in a week. Lightning try to go 2 up tonight. Heat blew their golden opportunity last night with no Giannis. I mean, you're going to be that's probably on paper the best matchup the Heat are going to have the rest of the series was last night, and they got whacked because they're without one of their 3 best players, Tyler Hero, probably for the rest of the series. I mean, I don't know how you play with a broken hand and it's your shooting hand. And so with no Giannis last night, I mean, that's as close as the rosters are going to get in this series the rest of the way. And you were down 33 after 3 and gave up 81 in the first half and 25 threes.
You didn't play defense in game 1 and 1. You just made all your shots, David.
Right.
They didn't stop Milwaukee in game 1. They shot, 50% from the floor and 50% from the three-point line, even though 62% from the floor. And I mean, it was ridiculous.
No, they shot 60% inside and outside the arc in winning game 1.
They're not that good of a scoring team. They don't shoot that well. Nobody does.
That looked like the 2021 first-round matchup right there.
Yeah.
Brutally swept.
I mean, guys, the Heat shot 54% last night. They hit 16 threes. They shot 44% themselves from beyond the arc. Now, a decent amount of it was garbage time because they were down 81-55 at the half. But think about it. They've shot 60 and 54%. They shot 54% and made 16 threes in a game in which Giannis didn't play. And not only did they lose, they got blown out. Your season's over then. If this is how you match up and this is the most you're going to get out of this roster and what have you, Felipe, you got a week left in your basketball season, man. This thing's over.
Look, I wasn't expecting to win game 1. I was prepared for April 24th, game 4 for the season to end. But I guess it'll be whatever, April 26th or 27th, whenever game 5 is.
Yeah, but after they stole game 1 and Giannis isn't playing game 2, I mean, you had to at least be like, wow, is this going to be one of those freakish series we talk about 15 years down the road?
And David, I didn't personally think, even if they won game 2,
right,
Giannis is coming back, and I still thought at the end of the day Milwaukee would win this in 6 or 7. I just don't think Miami has the firepower to beat a team that's that much better than them without a Tyler Hero. I mean, that you can't take away one of your parts and expect to win a series.
To answer your question, David, yes, but actually no. Because Giannis comes back, they win 4 straight. They're capable of winning 4 straight.
Well, no doubt about it. And like Mark is basically saying, even if the Heat had won last night and we're going home up 2-0, he'd still bet on the Bucks to win the series. But I do think if the Heat had played their A game last night and managed to win it, that I think they win one of the 3 at home and they at least force this sucker to a game 7, and then any damn thing can happen.
Yep. All bets are off in game 7, no doubt. And I think what yesterday did was maybe hurt the Celtics, because the longer you push the Bucks, in theory, it would wear them down a little bit for the next series. I think that, if anything, this helped the rest of the Eastern Conference, or hurt the rest of the Eastern Conference last night by Miami letting a golden opportunity slip away.
Totally. The Knicks and the Cavs are like, oh, come on, Miami. I mean, our series is going to go at least 6, likely 7. I mean, could you make these guys work? So, anyway, Golden State going to win tonight, by the way, quickly, tangent?
Yes.
They're a 5.5-point favorite.
I think they get it done at home tonight.
Do you know what their winning percentage is without Draymond?
It's like 45, 43, something like that.
That's, I think, throughout his career. Do you know what it is this year without Draymond? It's like 36% without Draymond. He's their leading rebounder. He's their leading assist guy. He's their best defender. He's the quarterback of their defense. And by trading Wiseman, who was not a great player, but the number 2 overall pick from a few years ago, he was a big guy. They don't have, I mean, Draymond's not a big guy. They don't have much taller than 6'5" on that roster, quite frankly.
I will say this. What's the over-under in this game? Because I'll bet the over right now.
Okay.
They are going to score some points in this game.
By the way, ESPN's whole percentage chances to win gives Sacramento a 61% chance to win tonight. Over-under's 239.
Yeah, I'll take the over.
That means 122 to 117 Golden State is what Vegas is saying the game is.
Wouldn't be surprised if both teams are in the 120s and one's in the 130s.
I think with Sacramento also, you have to take the over on most games.
Yes.
They score points at a rate
Well, and without Draymond, I'm going to take that more. Their defense is better, and Golden State knows without
Right.
Draymond, they've got to get going from beyond the arc as well. So I'm with you 100%, Felipe.
So we just did a couple minutes on Miami's golden opportunity last night, lost. Do you say the same thing about Sacramento? I mean, come on now. They were going to be hard-pressed to get one game at Golden State. 3 chances. They were going to be hard-pressed to win one of them. Don't you have to think their best chance to get a game in Golden State, if it ain't tonight, it ain't going to happen? And if that's the case, then you're going to have to hold serve at home to win this series.
I actually think the Warriors are going to win tonight.
I thought this series was going to go 7 anyhow, because Golden State is so good at home. And I thought Golden State would win eventually in 7. So I agree with your premise that this is an opportunity that Sacramento can end a dynasty tonight.
Right, because obviously they win, it's over. But I think that if the Warriors win tonight, which, again, they will, and they win Game 4, I think the Warriors will win the series.
Well, the thought is that, they win tonight, remember, they were the pick to win the series by most people to begin with. There are a lot of people that believe Golden State wins tonight. They may win 4 in a row. But do you think, by the way, this is the end of their window?
Yes.
So because
maybe
we all know
this year one more tops.
I think Clay's got a year left. Draymond's got a year. Draymond can pick up his option. Clay's got a year left. They're both looking for long-term extensions, which you're not going to get. Steph is still Steph. They got Wiggins.
And they got Poole.
Right. And so guys want to play there. They'll spend oodles of money. If they can sign a guy, they will. So you think this, remember, this thing started 2015. They won their first title within days of Donald Trump announcing he was running for president. That's when this started.
My damn, you put it like that.
Well, yeah, that's why some things seem longer than others. 2015, you may go, okay, well, Donald Trump, I believe, went down the escalator in New York in May or June of 2015, announcing he was going to run for president. The Warriors won their first title the second week of June in 2015.
Yeah, one more year tops.
Okay. And so, is that, teetering tonight? Because you got to consider it a dynasty. Don't you? 4 titles, they've been in 6 finals.
Modern day, no doubt.
In an 8-year run, that's got to consider them a dynasty, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So is a dynasty teetering tonight?
This could be the NBA nerd in me, but I also love that one of the people in charge of ending the dynasty is one of the founding fathers of that dynasty in Harrison Barnes on the Sacramento Kings, who has been a pivotal piece to the Kings season, by the way. And he's been playing well against his former team, who he won that 2015 championship with. Remember, he was their starting small forward before they added Kevin Durant.
One other NBA note. I think we all love some good trash talking.
Absolutely.
The whole Caitlin Clark, women's college basketball thing showed how much we all enjoy some good trash talking.
Right.
So, for those that don't know, Dylan Brooks, solid player, plays for Memphis. Memphis is playing the Lakers. Memphis beat the Lakers last night to even the series at a game apiece. Series now shifts to L.A. Dylan Brooks and LeBron. Dylan's the defensive guy. He was charged with guarding LeBron. He did okay. But they were trash talking, and one of the reporters afterwards said, "Hey, you were kind of poking the bear there. Should you be poking the bear?" Mark, here's his quote. "I don't care. He's old. I poke bears. I don't respect someone till he gives me 40.
I love it. I wouldn't recommend it.
So now, of course, what's the prop bet for the 2 games in Los Angeles that LeBron in one of them scores 40 on Dylan Brooks?
It's coming. That's for sure.
I mean, it's not like he has a problem getting the ball in his hand and dictating how many shots he takes.
I can see LeBron with 38, 39 making that shot, getting to 40, and just talking
Oh man,
more trash than you could ever imagine.
how great would it be in a serious clinching game? Oh,
I could see him getting in around 34 or something. It's late, and he just drives to the basket every time, and he gets the calls, and he keeps looking at Dylan Brooks going, we're getting to 40.
Well, and he keeps getting the calls on Dylan
Right.
Brooks.
Exactly.
Right.
Fouls him out of the game and just says, keep watching. I'm getting to 40. And then afterwards, they ask LeBron about it, and he goes, who?
oh, please. I mean, I know he's old. He's not wrong in that he's old, but he can still do it. Please, LeBron, score 40.
I'm going to say he's still one of the 10 best players in the game.
Yeah.
At 38, by the way.
You're 20.
No, 38.
Ugh.
He's better at 38 than Jordan was. And that's saying that Jordan averaged 20 points a game at 38.
He averaged 29 this year. LeBron James.
So now it's easier to score now than it was then. But I mean, he is still remarkable. According to Dylan Brooks, he's old.
He's old.
He's old, man.
38. I mean, that's old, David.
Well, it is in theory. Of course, he's like, Travis Kelce with a basketball in his hand driving the lane. But okay, sure. Yeah, he's old. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone, on 5th Avenue in Naples.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, your camera's.
I mean, obviously, just as long as it works, but
I don't know why I'm not even
right.
been on Twitter.
Oh, wait, David, I'd like to ask you a question. You responded to a meme that I replied with Damian Lillard and said that he's going to be a Knick. What compels you to say that?
Because they have 7 first-round picks that they can trade over the next 5 years, and they've got young players like Mitchell Robinson and R.J. Barrett and Miles McBride and Quentin Grimes that would interest teams. I don't think anybody can put a package together that's better than the Knicks for Damian Lillard. Plus, Lillard, to a large degree, I think will get to call his shot. I think Portland will say to him, hey, if we get one offer that's outrageous, we have to take it. But if it's close, where do you want to go? And I think Lillard will say, give me New York.
I'd love
Now,
to see Miami.
Now, believe it or not, it could be Brooklyn. Well, here's the thing with Miami. You have no assets. How the hell are you going to get anybody?
Who are you going to get?
You have no picks. You have no
Who
cap
can you
room.
send?
You have nobody to trade.
Euro? Okay, let me ask you something.
No, you'd have to trade Bam. I mean, remember, this is Damian Lillard. This is arguably the greatest player in their history. They have to get a ransom. They have to get what Utah got for Rudy Gobert.
That all we need, Hops?
I mean, seriously, Felipe, who can you acquire? You're going to trade Bam? You're going to trade? You would have to give him Bam and Tyler Hero and probably 2 or 3 first rounders.
Yeah, I wouldn't do Bam for Dame just because Dame's getting old and he's more injury prone and Bam plays more. Even though Bam has no bag offensively. None.
Right.
This man has no touch. He can't make a damn floater.
Right.
Can't shoot.
Right. And he's making big bucks.
He's just a good passer and an amazing defender and one of the most athletic big men in the NBA. That's it.
Right. Which, by the way, are all qualities that the NBA doesn't care about anymore.
It's the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Hey, can I just ask you just some generic questions?
Sure.
So you're thinking about drafting a quarterback, and he scores badly. And, back in the day, it was the Wonderlic test, and now, I don't know, it's some new test that got named. I don't know.
Right.
Would that matter to you? Like, would it matter, yes or no?
It could, if I was between two guys, it could be a tiebreaker, David.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, it's not a yes or no answer to me, and I'm not trying to.
No. I just
the question. But if if I'm equal on the board and it's Miller or Moulton, and on the cognitive test, Moulton was really bright and Miller was an idiot, I'd take Moulton.
Okay. Because apparently, I don't know. Apparently, CJ Stroud, whatever the new test is, the word is he didn't do well. That's what's coming out now. That's why CJ Stroud is dropping. Then there's Brady Quinn helped exacerbate a story that CJ Stroud was or was not invited to the Manning Academy, and he either blew him off or gave him incredibly late notice, and that shows that he's not mature. And, did they watch the game against Georgia? Help me out here. And I know it's an Ohio State quarterback, and they have not been good in the pros. And Ohio State cannot claim Joe Burrow. No, you cannot.
No. You
cannot claim him. The state of Ohio can claim him. You cannot claim him. So with that in mind, name me the successful Ohio State quarterback. I'll hang up and listen. It's going to take a while. But, I mean, did you see the Georgia game? Have you seen the tape? He avoids Jalen Carter. He rolls out to his right. He's getting chased by two guys who are going to get drafted. And he throws a 40-yard dime to a guy in the end zone with a small window for a touchdown. I mean, I don't care what the test is. Don't care. Don't care if he has the mental capacity of a vegetable.
Well, I would hope he has a little more mental capacity than a vegetable.
I don't know. I mean, some of them are really, smart. I mean, green beans, corn. I don't know. Maybe they just taste so damn good. I think they're smart. But I'm honestly, I don't care if he tested as a lima bean. Well, honestly.
This whole Brady Quinn thing has me fascinated because the first thing Quinn said is I was taken out of context. And now it's turned into the whole thing that Brady Quinn said. Brady Quinn was asked why he could be slipping. He gave a reason as to why, and it's been taken as gospel by everybody.
And it might be true, might not be. I mean, now people are coming out and saying, no, he had let him know. He had decided not to go to the academy. He was going to stay back at Ohio State. And
who cares?
Well, I understand about kissing the ring, but I mean, come on now. I mean, is that a reason? Once again, did you watch the tape against Georgia? Now, if he's a jerk, if you talk to a bunch of coaches and players and they're like, yeah, he's talented, but he's a blankety blank. Now, that's a different story.
He doesn't like to work hard, whatever the case may be. Doesn't like, Matt Cannata alluded earlier on our show to saying there's talk of maybe he doesn't like to put the work in. Well, that would be something I'd be very concerned with.
Right. And got to talk to him. And maybe, quite frankly, Mark, he didn't have to. He was the most talented player on all the teams he played on. And at Ohio State, how many times did they line up against teams whose personnel was even as good as theirs?
Twice a year if they make the playoff.
Right. I mean, you're going to hold the fact he went 0-2 against Michigan? By the way, he played pretty well. I mean, was it his fault that the run defense couldn't stop guys from going 75 and 80 yards at a clip? But listen, if he's a jerk, the coaches and players give you scouting reports going, you know what? Don't know about a leader of a team. Okay, that's a different story. But, Dan Marino reportedly had like an awful Wonderlic. And it contributed to why they drafted, Todd Blackledge ahead of him. I mean, and if you go back and watch game film from 1982, when they did the Marino, his life documentary, you watch him throw the ball. I honestly, once again, I would have looked at him and go, I don't care what this test is. We're not hiring an engineer. Have you seen the way he throws the ball? I mean, honestly, if you could ever watch Marino highlights at Pitt, forget the Dolphin highlights, the Pitt highlights. Honestly, you haven't seen a guy throw the ball like that since Namath. And he was the 5th quarterback taken? What the heck?
I'm more concerned with Tua saying he wanted to retire than I am with C.J. Stroud's cognitive test right now.
If he's a bad dude, not a leader, that's a different story.
We haven't heard any of that for months. How the hell a week before the draft would that come out, David? That doesn't seem logical.
I know.
He had 3 years to rip his character apart, 2 years. I mean, he's been playing. We've seen it. There's never been a question about it.
And now there's talk that not only are the Texans not going to take him at 2. Now, I will say it was out early that the Texans were all in on Bryce Young. And that was the guy they wanted. Okay, fine. Fine. Indianapolis is not going to take CJ Stroud. They've had, 5 different quarterbacks the last 5 years? They're not going to take CJ Stroud? Sometimes I think, I can overanalyze the 3-car funeral. I think sometimes NFL teams can overanalyze the 3-car funeral.
And then once NFL teams start, NFL media can take it to a whole nother level in a hurry.
Well, it's their sources.
But they're not even sources. If you put the CJ Stroud thing about the Manning camp, there's 74 stories. There's one person that said it. Every other person's taking it as gospel.
So apparently he has a cognitive test of some kind that he didn't score well in.
And he didn't kiss the Manning's ring.
Or there was miscommunication or whatever. Now, I get it. It's drafted a quarterback. And if you're wrong, it crushes your franchise. I get it. It's a big deal.
But if you're wrong and don't draft him and he was the right guy, it crushes it even more. Ask the Bears.
But I don't know. I mean, are we going to have an Aaron Rodgers like fall here? Where if Indianapolis doesn't take him at 4, seriously, start going down the list here. What? The Vegas at 7? I mean, reportedly, Atlanta's not taking a quarterback. So we got Chicago, we got Philly. What? Now all of a sudden he's down to 11? And Tennessee?
And then Houston gets him on the backside at 12.
I mean, honestly, right now, what do you have more concerns about? CJ Stroud or Jalen Carter?
Carter.
Now, I think Jalen Carter is the best player in the draft. I think his A game is better than anybody else's A game. But I'm with you.
But does he want to play?
Exactly. I have more football questions about Jalen Carter, who's the best player in the draft, than I do about CJ Stroud.
And we'll get to plenty of more questions coming because this is just going to continue. When they start falling, people look for a reason for them to fall more. So pay attention to what goes on with CJ Stroud. This story of the Manning camp will be a big thing in the cognitive test. More will come out later today. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening. Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So apparently, the schedule for the EAS test is every other month at 4:50 a.m.
Wow. Wow.
Apparently, June, August, and October, it's currently scheduled for 4:50 a.m.
Doesn't seem that smart. Hey, David, was the soccer game on TV last night?
Yeah, TBS.
Okay. I looked for it and couldn't find it.
TBS. You should have texted me. Did you hear, by the way, about the law they voted on in Michigan?
I just literally read that. Literally just read it on a tweet.
Jeez.
You see the same tweet I did?
Probably call to activism.
Someone retweeted it.
Yeah.
Omar Kelly retweeted it. That's who I saw it from.
Yeah, I saw the retweet also. So we're engaged, and I'm out in Fargo, and she's in Binghamton. And I just figured we're going to live apart till we get married. I mean, after all, she is a minister's daughter.
Right.
And I'm fine with that. And all of a sudden, she picks up the phone. We've been engaged like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. And she's like, yeah, I'm moving out there. I didn't ask her. I went, what? Yeah, I just, miss you. If we're going to spend this life together, we might as well start now. You talked to your mom and dad about this? Yeah, I just told them. Huh. So we call them the Rev.
Right.
All right. Her last Sunday in Binghamton, I get the weekend off. All right. I fly in. We're going to drive out together, all her stuff and what have you, her car, the whole deal. So I'm there for the Sunday sermon. He does the sermon on living in sin. And he's got his buddy, who's also a pastor, they did a role play in which the buddy takes the, hey, come on, times and what have you, and this, that, and the other thing. And he, of course, takes the role on, in which he almost channeled his inner Baptist. Right. And he's a liberal Methodist minister. But you could tell on this one, I think it bothered him. I think it's fair to say it bothered him. I told him the whole time, he lived for another 5.5 years. I told him, I go, hey, you do know it was all her. He goes, funny. Oh, I know.
That is funny.
Yep. But even as against it as he was, he did not recommend it be against the law and I should be arrested. Hell, maybe. But prison, no. I use all the hotel stuff.
I do too.
Yeah.
I don't have time to take all that. My wife takes everything with her.
And I leave it too. I don't steal. I don't take the.
No, I actually throw it all in the garbage. Like whatever I use, I actually try to clean my hotel bathroom as best I can.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
"22 minutes before the hour, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us.
I just want to let you know that that's the song. Neither Miller or Moulton are heavy breathing into the microphone right now. That is not a 70s porn play in the background.
Why does it always have to be 70s? Mustache, music, everything.
I got to admit, you got the look for it, dude. You do.
But why does it always have to be that? Why can't it be like a cowboy or just anyone
Well,
else cool with a mustache?
Here's why. All right, because there was a time, when porn was really frowned upon, and you couldn't really get your hands on it either. It was hard. And
not just the actors.
Right. And that was 70s into the 80s porn. Now, porn's what made the internet work. Without porn, the internet might have said, nah, I don't know if we can pay the bills with this thing. It's widespread. It's more accepted. Felipe, get your dad to the side and just ask him, did you ever watch the TV and you had the channels that you didn't subscribe to, but you knew there was porn on, and they were all squiggly lines, and occasionally they would freeze and you'd see like a butt cheek? Oh my goodness, that's a naked woman.
I'm not going to recommend you do that.
I really don't want to have that conversation with any of my family members.
Do you have a cool uncle? That's where you go with that.
There
You
you
don't go to dad with that one. You've got to have at least one cool uncle.
I don't have a mustache to look like a porn star.
No, you actually do.
No,
No.
you do. Yeah, you do.
As a matter of fact, Felipe, you look right out of the 70s with that thing.
You do. And the hair, if we got you the right fashion, okay, you'd fit right in 1977.
I could see you in a video for the song War, Spill the Wine.
What?
Listen to it.
There you go. Look it up. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Starting 1611 today, David. The first known performance of Shakespeare's Macbeth. Tickets on StubHub were a son of a bitch. That's all.
Man, I lined up around the block.
1912, both Fenway and Tiger Stadium open. The Red Sox beat the New York Highlanders in 11. The Tigers beat the Cleveland Indians 6-5. 1939, Ted Williams gets his first major league hit. I don't know what they did before this, David, but it merely says today in 1944, the NFL legalizes coaching from the bench.
Right. I'm guessing they were upstairs.
1949, jockey Bill Shoemaker wins his first race. 1949.
Didn't he win races for like 40 more years?
Yeah. That's crazy. 1958, the Canadians beat the Bruins for a three-peat. 1982, the Atlanta Braves become the first team to win 12 games of the first 12 games of the season. They were trying to call them America's team on TBS, David. You remember it.
The Superstation, Mark.
Damn right. 1986, Jordan goes for 63, setting an NBA playoff record.
I'd say after he went for 49 in game one. Larry Bird. This is the 86 Celtics. This is arguably the greatest Celtics team of all time. They went 40-1 at home that year. And Jordan goes for 49 and 63 in the first two games of the series at the famed Boston Garden. And afterwards, Kevin McHale goes, if he scores 77 in game three, okay, we're just going to quit.
88, the Baltimore Orioles set the worst record to start a season by going 0-14. They would go 0-21 before winning a game.
Fired Cal's dad, and he held it against the organization for a long time.
96, the Bulls win their 72nd game of the season, and Keyshawn is the first pick by the Jets.
Throw me the damn ball. Pat Kerwin helped making that pick.
99 was Columbine. And in 2002, David Carr was the first pick of the Houston Texans.
I wonder what his Wonderlic was.
Tito Puente and Luther Vandross, both born today. Those celebrating birthdays, Steve Spurrier, 78. Jessica Lang is 77. Don Mattingly, 62. And Carmen Electra is 51. What did I miss, David?
A few things. A little this, little that. The Mariel boat lift was today in 1980. Castro allowing Cubans to emigrate to the U.S. And Danica, 15 years ago today, won that Indy race. I think it was in Japan. Our former producer, our buddy, John Cassio, whose birthday is today. Happy birthday.
Today.
In fact, I think he's either 39, 40, 41, something like that. He hated Danica, and he always contended, since that race was on tape delay and it was in Japan, that it never really happened. And we used to get Jack Arute on the show, who did the pits for the broadcast. He was interviewing her post-race, and we would always say, we're not going to talk to Jack until you ask Jack off the air whether or not that race actually happened. And we asked Jack Arute on the air one time, listen, Jack, before we go on, okay, did that Danica race in Japan actually happen? Or, much like the moon landing, were you taping that in New Mexico?
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
For the good, we go to Texas and some fishermen. Woman was reported missing. And some fishermen in a lake thought they saw a faint outline of a car roof sticking up in the water. Turned out they were right. They were able to get the woman out, who was trapped in the car for 3 hours underwater. And the Longview Police Department, along with the boaters, were able to get her out, and she survived. Great job by everyone there. For the bad, we go to Cape Coral, where people took photos of a motorcycle remade as a jet ski tooling down the roads in Cape Coral. They had taken the motorcycle body off and apparently replaced it with the jet ski body. No license plate, no mirrors, no signals, just some dumbass running Cape Coral streets on a converted motorcycle into a jet ski.
Dumber idea, that or an EAS test at 4:45 in the morning.
You know, you could make that the ugly very easily. But instead, we go to D.C. for the ugly, where White House security and Secret Service had to act quickly when someone invaded the White House lawns. Turned out it was a toddler that managed to get between the bars. Good photo of the police helping the toddler back to the other side of the fence. No word on what his aggravations were and what he wanted to get to the White House for. And that's the good, the bad, and the ugly on this 4/20/2023.
By the way, I do think with how some people have reacted to people knocking on their doors and pulling into their driveways lately, that I thought the Secret Service was pretty cool about it.
I thought they were really cool about it. I thought it was actually a cute story.
I mean, you know, have a security breach and all, then you probably run there in a panic. Somebody's on the front lawn. Okay, and you run out there and it's oh. So, yeah.
Mom's not feeling really good about the toddler's
No, that's a long, as they pick them up, bring it, walk them over. Hi.
Nice explanation you got to give there.
Right. Hi, how are you? Okay, by the way, you're going to be audited for the next couple of years, but it's okay. Here you go. We have 7 baseball games, 2 of them in the afternoon. Angels, Yankees late afternoon, but Twins, Red Sox on MLB Network at 1:30 if you need something. Both the Rays and the Marlins have off today. Hockey, we got the 4 games, baby. That's how they're doing it. 4 games every day. It's just a different 4. Lightning in Toronto, Rangers in Jersey, Kraken in Colorado, Winnipeg in Vegas. The road teams all won game 1. Mark, how many road teams win game 2?
The New York Rangers.
Well, they're the best odds. They're a slight dog. Everybody else pretty solid favorite. Leafs are minus 180. Colorado's minus 2.25. Vegas minus $1.65. I may take Winnipeg again. I called that upset to begin with. I'm high on the Jets. 3 NBA playoff series tonight. Hey, Phoenix and the Clippers gets NBA TV.
And Phoenix is favored by 2.5.
Yeah. Golden State at home. The 10 o'clock game against Sacramento. No Draymond Green, and yet the Warriors are a 5.5-point favorite. And the early game, does Brooklyn even create any suspense and make this a series? Philly a 4.5-point favorite. 7:30 on TNT.
I'll take one road team. Give me the Sixers. And I think Golden State gets it done. I think the Clippers win at home.
I think the Suns win for this reason. I think Phoenix found something in the last game. They were down 13 or 14 in the second quarter, and they picked up the tempo. They basically got the ball out of Chris Paul's hands. Booker and Durant said, let us run the offense for a while. They played much faster, and they played really well.
Well, and LA was switching defenses nearly every time down the floor, changing what they were doing. They were going from double team, triple teams, zones. They literally changed their defense damn near every time the floor. That was slowing Phoenix down. Phoenix figured that out. So what the Clippers adjust defensively is a big part of that game tonight.
I love how close the Clippers have made this series without Paul George.
Good. And you know why? Because Kawhi is amazing.
Kawhi is playing
is
like a top 3 player in the NBA.
Yes, he really is. This is 2019 Kawhi with Toronto right now. He is tremendous so far.
He was
in
playing
this
like
series.
this before he went down in 2021. I think that if he would have stayed healthy, they would have won the NBA Finals that year.
Well, there are a lot of people that think, by the way, that this series is going to determine who comes out of the West. The Clippers are probably going to have to play it without Paul George, though. This would be an amazing series if Paul George was healthy.
But I think the Clips get it done tonight. They are not favored, by the way. The Suns favored by 2.5.
Yeah, I like Phoenix. In fact, I'm tempted to take all 3 road teams. Draymond not playing is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
I can't believe they're the biggest favorite on the board tonight at 5.5. Mike Brown officially won Coach of the Year also yesterday. I'm sure he'll get a warm ovation in the Bay Area where he was an assistant for a couple of years.
I want to stay up and watch that game too.
Oh, I'm going to. It's going to hurt, but I'm going to.
Don't you at least have to watch the start? It won't tip till nearly 10:15, but what the heck? The Lightning game will go till 9:30, 9:40. It's, you switch over, you watch the end of the Rangers Devils, and then you switch over for Golden State Sacramento.
Got a nap now.
Run and get some ice cream between the end of the Lightning game and the start of the Golden State game. I'll be set for the first half.
I have to admit, the Heat did Felipe a solid yesterday. Down 26 at the half. They were at the half. It was like 10-20. I sent him a text, said, you can go to bed. He sent me a bunch of Z's back. They did you a solid last night.
I picked the wrong night to wear a Miami Heat LeBron James jersey. That's for sure.
The Heat definitely were sleeping as well. There's no doubt about it. That was a terrible performance by the Miami Heat last night with a golden opportunity in front of them. Let's see what the Lightning do tonight. Can they steal another one in Toronto?
I say no.
I don't think so either, but they've got the goaltender that can do it. We know the way they can do it. It's just a matter of whether or not they can get it done.
I think Hedman has to play for them to win. I don't think they can win without Hedman. Miller and Moulton. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if